It says we're live, but I don't see it. Hold on a second. There we go. So some people get in here. As always, unplanned. What's up, Phil? Watch over here on the computer. Any comments? Being last minute, nobody might even jump on. I didn't really plan. I was actually going to work. What's up, everybody? Good. Probably should plan these things a little better, not just fly off the cuff. See how many people we get in here. What's everybody doing this afternoon? Seen John went live earlier at the racetrack. I didn't get to watch it. See, you got the notification because you set your notification. A lot of people don't set their notifications. Yeah, I figured I would go live because there's so many like questions, I guess. Let me flip this thing around. Make it a little easier. All right, yeah, that's a little easier. Mike, no problem, man. I think we're gonna have a lot more coming up. I got some more stuff in the works. We're definitely gonna be building some more stuff. We're still chasing that car that most people don't even know about. Let's see here. John live at the track, hard to watch, can't do stabilization. Yeah, it's hard at the racetrack, but yeah, if you like to build videos, we're gonna have a lot more. I'm in the process of trying to buy 2 more vehicles, actually. I've been in the process. I've actually been recording for y'all, like I told you before, since I think it was last October or April. No, maybe it was April when we started recording chasing the other car. Just can't put out that content yet. And since then, I have come up with another idea. We're gonna build another like drag and drive style car, or vehicle. But we're trying to get this one done. I think I got the suspension figured out. That's why I kind of said that I would jump on here. They got it figured out. I know there's so much input on the comments, but I imagine that a lot of guys that comment on it, you know, also maybe they don't have their notifications on, or they might not even notice, you know, that we're live. No, I haven't found the other car. I have bid on a lot. I have, I think, 30 minutes worth of footage for y'all that I cannot release. I cannot release the footage until I purchase a car. But I've actively been bidding on them and stuff. But have not purchased one yet. Let's see here. Is the clicking still in the audio? It might honestly be picking up the clock. If it's very faint, there's a clock on the wall up there that's clicking. Seems like sometimes when I edit these videos, like it picks up crazy background noise. And it is like so quiet in here right now. Were you able to get the ride height down with your suspension? I have the car is sitting right now exactly where it's supposed to be at. So I've worked on it all afternoon. and the shocks are mocked up exactly where they need to be at. Everything. You can kind of see a bolt right here. It's mocked up. No Mustangs. All-wheel drive Coyote F-150. So I'm not even keeping a big secret. We are doing an F-150. So I think if you caught some of the hints in the other video, we are going to build a single cab F-150, drag and drive Coyote, put the blower on it, Pro Charger on it, and all that. But I got to find exactly what I want. A few minutes left in the build. It's hard to get back started. Yeah, it is. When you take that downtime, dude, it's very hard to get back started when you take that downtime. Like, I come down here literally this afternoon, and I said, well, we're going to go ahead and start cutting all this out. So I'm about to saw and cut off wheels literally right here on the floor. I've already cut some stuff out earlier, sawed some things out. And I said, well, I'm going to start sawing everything out. And I was like, no. I was like, let me just look at it and think about it some more before I just dive right in. And then it's so quiet down here right now. And it's Sunday afternoon. Harper's going to bed. I said, you know what? Why don't we jump on live and chat with some people and shoot the crap for a little bit instead of making a bunch of noise cutting the car up, I guess. Like the F-150, I've got some, I'm diving in, the F-150 world I'm completely naive to besides fixing. But like I was watching Cletus's video today where they were doing the racing and all them F-150s were down to cleaning house. I think I can put a hardcore twist on a daily driver with tags and insurance that I can legit drive to and from work, but incorporate lightweight, cut up race car stuff and still be a true daily driver. We'll probably keep the AC. Probably keep everything. Probably try to keep everything. I don't know. Get rid of as much as we can, but keep as much as we can also. I don't know. Love the new setup. Should be really fast. Motivated me. I'm very glad it has motivated you. That's what the channel's all about. The channel's not really for entertainment. It's more for motivation and building. So I wanted to grow a family that we all stick together. I comment to everybody's comments that are left on here to try to interact, help people, and grow this family. On personal Facebook, I'm always answering questions or messages. So I'm trying to grow a family, not trying to grow an entertainment channel that just entertains. I'm trying to grow a channel where everybody kind of comes up together. So I share how to make your stuff look good, share all the knowledge that I have, and try to help lift everybody up together is what the plan is with the channel. What did you mess with the suspension to start with when you were just going from Pro Charger to turbo going straight down the track? Before, I'm curious. Mur never has his F-150 with fuel tech making progress. Yes. Okay, so Johnny, that's excellent question. Excellent question, because there seems that I don't remember the numbers on the subs that we had when we took the car apart. We started taking the car apart on November the 23rd. That's when we started taking the car apart. I worked every single day and put out a video almost every single day well into January before I just recently, 2 weeks ago, slowed down. So the reason why we changed the suspension, the reason why I messed with the suspension, the car was going straight, but if you back way up, so if all the new viewers back way up, I don't even remember where my control arms are at. Where's my, they're already all cut up, man. So the old control arms had the poly bushings in them, the rubber bushings, and I'm gonna get everybody's comment, I'm gonna go down. But it had the poly bushings and it was just complete crap, the old suspension. It was heavy, it was steel, it was crap, it had no adjustments. The ball joints were Chinese, we couldn't service them really. It was just complete crap. So another thing was that the front springs, John had already told me that he felt like we were out of front spring. So there was one point, I can't remember what it was, one track where we changed a setting. They were just single adjustables, so I needed to go to double adjustables. So we were already out of front spring, and I think we're about to run out of back spring. If I recall, the last time we were out, I think the rear suspension is coming next as far as shock-wise. So I wanted to upgrade the shocks. I wanted to upgrade the control arms. I wanted more adjustment in control arms. I wanted to cut some weight out of the control arms. I wanted to put Heim joints in the control arms. There was a whole bunch of stuff. I did not like how the adjustable mounts, these pieces right here, I don't know if the camera can even see it. So I have them back on here right now. Y'all don't even know about this yet because I'm filming actively. They were messed up. So these adjustable ride height, the jack bolts, they're jack bolts. they were all the way out to get the car at ride height. If I lowered it down, the car would drag. The Pro Charger was in the way of it. You couldn't even raise that up. So the car was like dead in the water on the front suspension. So I wanted to get adjustability back, and that's what kind of I added to. And then I wanted exactly the looks of the factory shock towers. I really wanted these factory shock towers in here bad. The more and more I see Fox bodies with factory shock towers, the more and more I'm in love with it. And I wanted the car to go back a little bit more towards having a touch of factory stuff about the car. It's crazy because it's like when I started out, it was like 400 horsepower daily driver, and then it went to where we were cutting as much as we can out, and then I got into drag racing and I started learning about how picky people are about the rules. So I kind of screwed myself on the back of this car if you're building a car, because I back half the car and the car kind of fits daily driver or street car classes in a ton of ways, especially when it was on the E85. So when I back half the car, there's always a rule of no back half. So I wanted to, and then the front is, factory like front suspension. So I wanted to go back as close to factory like front suspension as I could. So that was the big push of changing the front suspension. That was like literally it. Let's see here. Just bought me a car to build. I'm hoping to video it and help other people as well, as you have not to make the same mistakes I do. Yeah, that's the good thing about YouTube is just helping other people out. That's what I enjoy the most. Spend hours reading all the comments. This page gets, dude, my life revolves around, when we're rolling a video a day, it revolves around answering messages and comments. The fellow that won that race had AC and a 10-speed. I seen that rig. That was crazy. AC, 10-speed and all that. But I imagine, no, I don't know anything about the guy. I don't even remember the guy's name. But I imagine he had money in the motor. So it's like with racing, it's either like we make the car light with less money, or we do like Randy. Randy will keep like throwing money and going faster and faster, not worrying about weight really. And you could do that. You can make a lot of power and not have to worry about weight, but to make power, it takes money. To lose weight, it's free up to a certain point. So I like to kind of fall in the center. I don't mind spending a little bit of money, but I'm not rich. But weight's free if you can get it out of it. Gotta run. Cool, I appreciate that. See you later, non-typical. Love the factory shock towers, but I just watched it as a shotguns video. Did you figure it out yet? So Mr. Tim, yes, I'm pretty sure I have figured it out. It is very hard responding to the comments on these type of videos because it seems like a lot of people have jumped on board and they weren't there on November the 23rd. So November the 23rd is when we took the car down. If you're new and you want to see this whole journey, we cut this whole car down to nothing but factory frame rails, just bare frame rails. There was nothing but the frame rails sticking out and the hoop. That's how far we cut this front end off. We cut the firewall out, we cut the floor out, we cut the center of the car out. We cut everything out of this car. And I think a lot of people miss that because they'll comment things that like if you back up, that we already fought with and we struggled with. But the biggest thing in the most recent videos, it's like we change one thing, we fix one problem, back and forth, back and forth. So when we keep flipping these hats over, okay, that was getting us the 1 inch of shaft. So that was trying to get us ride height, but it was also getting us our 1 inch of shaft showing by flipping these hats, to the bottom, to the top, flipped up, all this crap. But at the end of the day, what I realized today was I thought I had it. I said, okay, well, you get so confused of flipping so much stuff around, and then you said, okay, well, we got 1 inch of shaft. Bam, we nailed it. We got 1 inch of shaft. The car holds itself up off the ground. You can stand on the front and it will completely go down. As soon as you step off, it comes right back up. We're good to go. So last night or yesterday, I hung the fender on it, put the fender on it. I was like, whoa. I was like, we are way too high up in the air. I was like, this thing looks like complete crap. I was like, it needs to go down. So then if you back up and you take the fender off and you look at it, you realize that you can't go down. The car cannot go down. If we take the shocks off, which is there right now, they're off, and the car is set at ride height off of a jack. So if we throw the shocks out in the yard, and we put the car at ride height, that's when you're gonna have to back up a couple videos to when I cancel TKM, and you'll remember the mounting point of the shock to the ball joint. And as long as the shock was higher than the ball joint, the car didn't collapse. But as soon as the mounting point of the shock got in line with the ball joint or below, the geometry flipped and the car collapsed. So that was the issue. So to get the car down low enough where it needs to be, which is actually, I was filming for it right now, the bottom control arms, I have preached about how my car was built on parallel control arms off the ground. It was. But then later, I wanted the car even lower than what it was built. So my reference point was parallel control arms, and then you can always bump it down just a little bit. So I have the car set at ride height now, and the inside of the control arms are running, let's see here, how are they running? They're running downhill because the car is so low, whereas of course the outer control arms are up. So the control arms are actually down below the parallel rule of thumb that I use. So the shock, no matter what spring we put in, we could put a 600-pound spring in, okay? If we turn that 600-pound spring to get 1 inch of shaft showing, then as soon as we lower the car down enough, or we turn the coilover down enough to get ride height, that's when our ball joint is going to flip. The geometry is going to flip, the car is going to collapse, and it's going to hit the ground. So the issue is not the spring rate. The issue is not, you know, the 1 inch of shaft showing. None of that stuff is an issue. We were trying to hit all of that, but the issue lies in these upper control arms, which is right here. I'll give you a little piece of example. Yeah, that's a saw. I sawed this crap out this afternoon. Okay, so that's the issue, is where that shock is mounted in relation to that ball joint that makes the car collapse. The only way to fix that is pretty much what I'm doing now, and that's why this is mocked up, is move the shock to the lower control arm. Take the coilover, move it to the lower control arm, and now your lower control arm can't flip. It can't camber in, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the scientific name of it is. It can't pivot over like that, like the upper is. So you can now have the upper, I mean, you can have the upper like this. And as long as the shock goes down through it to the bottom, it doesn't matter, because there's no pressure being pushed on the upper. The shock is not pushing on the upper, it's pushing on the lower arm. So that's the answer to all of this. The answer is the shock has to go to the lower control arm because of the angle of the upper control arm. So if we bring the upper control arm and go up with it and make it more parallel, where it's you know, more like factory, then we won't have that issue, because we could put it on, let's see here, my wife just texted me. We could put the shock on the top of the control arm and be good to go, but we can't go parallel with the top of the control arm, because then we lose all the long travel. So long travel, we got to start like this, so that the control arm goes down through its whole motion. That way it uses the whole sweep of the ball joint. That's what we're trying to use. So that's like so many people, which there's a lot going on, and it's hard, I guess, for me to record a video and not ramble for 1 minute worth of videos trying to keep everything explained. It's really, really freaking hard. Let's see here. Did I paint Randy's car so the thing is clean? Brandon and I originally did paint Randy's car. So if you're interested in Randy's paint, then go to the channel. Everybody should do this anyway. Go find the playlist on this channel, because I've organized everything by playlist. So like this car has its own entire playlist. And look for the Turbo John Racing Crew playlist. You'll actually get to go all the way back to when Randy's car was black and primer, like it was like flat black. And you'll get to see the whole entire paint job, all the body work, all the straightening out, how we did the hood, the Zeus's, everything we documented. But then we're very early videos, so they were a little rougher. The next best playlist is going to be the Blue Chicago Street Car or Blue Chicago Grudge Car playlist, and that shows like freaking everything on how we did it. But we did originally paint it. Now Randy is maintaining his own paint, because he now owns a body shop, so he's doing his own paint. I'm not really, I'll help him if he needs it, but like when he redid the hood recently and stuff like that, he painted all that stuff now. Oh, let's see here. Appreciate it if everybody hits the like button. Yeah, Lone Wrencher. So I don't know when you come onto the channel, but if you're new, then we had the car. We raced the car last year on the Pro Charger, and if you're not new, then yes, I agree with you. I'm ready to see the car out too, and that's why I pushed so hard, dude. I pushed up to the point where it was trying to go to TKM, and then I was just gave out. And I was like, I need to back it off and slow down and stop pushing so hard, because I'm losing so much family time, you know, and stuff that I can't get back. Like today, instead of going, the reason why I wasn't at the track with John live is because I was doing an Easter egg hunt. We took Harper doing an Easter egg hunt and stuff like that. So instead of being at the racetrack, I was Easter egg hunting and then at the park and watching her play. So that's a lot more valuable than the racetrack. Yeah, the garage car turned out amazing, and I don't know, you probably have no way of seeing it. I think I shared it on my Facebook. He just recently took that car testing for the first time, and I was going to include the clip in one of the upcoming videos. I just haven't edited it in yet. Dude, I slowed the videos. It is crazy how much we slowed down compared to a video a day to now we're putting out like one video a week on the car, and then the other videos are future videos. It's funny because my YouTube will keep early for Easter eggs. Yeah, but it's for the kids, man. So my YouTube will notify me, like I did the Ford Taurus video, and it's like fewer viewers are watching this video, and it's like, yeah, I know. That's like Sammy told me the other night when I was talking to him, that's our 401k as a YouTuber. It's the videos that don't pull no views now, them are the monsters. Them are the freaking monsters. Them are the ones that you look back in 5 years and they've got 100,000. I mean, we got one paint job video on this channel that has over 200,000 views on one painting video. When it first come out, it didn't pull no views really. But them videos are there for people that are searching keywords and trying to find certain stuff. These videos on this car, they don't do nothing for a YouTuber, really. They really don't. Like, this is not where the bread and water's at in this cars. It's all the other videos that you are running in the background continuously around the clock. I still get comments, like tonight I answered a comment on the Jeep video. So if y'all been around for a while, if you remember when we got the Jeep video, or did the Jeep videos for my wife a while back, where we fixed the electrical, the no locks, no power windows. That thing pulled no views when it come out at all. And like slowly now it's like, it's growing traction where it's pulling views and people are commenting where they're fixing their issue off of it. Anytime you can put out a video that fixes an issue, way better money as a YouTuber in the long run than filming race car stuff. Cool deal. I guess I need to start scheduling these. Raptor liner, what'd you think of it? Yes, if you recall, we used, you've been on the channel for a long time, we used Raptor liner in the trunk. Pretty sure that's what it was. So if you remember, we used it on the rattle can where you punch the bottom of it and you use activators, or it activates it, and that's what we sprayed the whole trunk out with when we re-back half the car basically for the third time. But I've used it. It's good. I mean, I've had no complaints on Raptor liner at all. Appreciate that. Yeah, the how-to videos is just, it's better. If you're trying to be a YouTuber, if you're trying to become a YouTuber, and you want to do YouTube long-term, then you have to be able to pay to do YouTube long-term, and so you need some stuff that's going to pull videos always for your salvage title cars. Your content. I figured this thing wasn't going to get that many people in here. Yeah, dude, you'll be fine with that Raptor liner. I bet if we started scheduling, what are we, 23 minutes in this? I bet if we started scheduling these, it'd probably pull better views. And it's crazy because so many people have comments, not the cans like you said. Yeah, but I've also used it out of the paint gun. So I've used the 2K stuff that you mix up like normal paint. When we did the F450, the black dually that I had on 22.5s, I wasn't doing YouTube then, but I did that whole entire bed with Raptor spray on liner. And Eddie, actually my employee, just a couple months ago, he did for a customer job at night, that spray on bed liner. We've had excellent luck with it. Let's see here. But yeah, I bet we'd get more viewers on here if I scheduled this and stop jumping on randomly. Like I said, dude, the comments have been, there's been a lot of comments on today's video. And so that's what I said, well, let's pop on and see if anybody jumps on. But I know people kind of just watch YouTube at their own pace. You know, I was like, then we can answer everything because I try to respond in the comments. Yeah, I have to schedule it. That's the problem. Do I have a favorite YouTuber? Man, my go-to videos, well, I watch everything Turbo John puts out. Believe it or not, even if I'm at the track, I watch every minute of every video John puts out. I like to see how what we're doing in real life translate to the TV. And I like to kind of test myself and judge myself on how he delivered it, how I recorded some of it and stuff like that. But my go-to is going to be Justin Swanstrom Racing. So that's going to be my go-to. Follow him on Facebook and all that stuff. And that's going to be my go-to number one, probably if I have only a certain amount of time. The next one's going to probably be Kai Kelly because of the video quality is good and I like the way the cars look. There's other channels that the video quality is really good, but I don't really like the way the cars look. So I guess them are my like two go-tos besides Turbo John. But here lately, dude, I've been kind of so over the race car stuff that I haven't even been watching much of it. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. For the salvage title car, do you pick them based on total potential profit or labor rate? How do you decide what to buy and how much max to bid? All right, so I know this is going to sound like a lie, but when I purchased the car, we have no clue what it's worth. We don't know what the car's worth until we're completely repaired at 100%. The day it is done and the day that Eddie, my employee, turns hours into my wife, we photograph the car, we turn pictures into my wife because we do a lot of the photographing and the labor. She then looks up on Kelly Blue Book and sees what the value is. And then a lot of times she'll ask me what she should list it for. She lists a lot of the cars herself. But we literally just pick them off. We kind of go off of, like, we've learned, like right now, for instance, it's going to be different everywhere. But what I pay for tows and everything, my bid needs to be $650 for a vehicle to about $1,200 for a car. So that's going to be your average daily driver cars. If you hit a $650 bid to a $1,200 bid on the car, the bid, then a lot of times that puts you in a window of selling it on the flip side for $2,500 to $3,800. That's about the rule of thumb. Now, sometimes the cars are worth more and you put them for $5,000, $4,000, whatever the case may be. But by the time you hit that bid, you've got fees, you got transportation costs, you got repair costs, you got labor costs and all that. That still puts it where, believe it or not, depending on how much you put into it, you're still making money. There's plenty of times that we sell salvages for over clean title, over Kelly Blue Book. Everything is disclosed as a salvage, but you have supply and demand. So when you're shopping for a car, you get tired of looking at crap. You get tired of looking at people's dirty interiors, disgusting cars, messed up paint. And then when you come to our lot, the paint's in good shape. The interiors are stupid clean. Some of the cleaners around because we pull our interiors and we power wash all of our interiors and then put them back in. So you can't get cleaner than a power washed interior. And most people are literally just sick of the bull crap that's out there, and they'll jump all over the salvage. If you hit it $2,500 to $3,000, exactly, it's a sweet spot. $2,500 to $3,000 is a sweet spot. The average American can get their hands on about $3,000. If you put a car up for sale for over $3,000, the average American cannot afford it. We don't do buy here, pay here. We've only had 3 cars out on buy here, pay here. We don't normally do that. So all of our deals are like cash deals. You know, now my pickup trucks, I'll list them things sky high. When I do trucks, I'm in control of the trucks most of the time, just because of street value. Again, it's all about supply and demand. That title status does not matter. And the only people that think title status matters is people that don't do it for a living. Once you actually start doing it for a living, you'll realize what matters is the bang for the buck. What matters is how good of a product do you have and what does that product cost. That's what matters at the end of the day for 75% or more of Americans. Let's see here. How much did the Turbo Boo Boo cost? I think the Turbo Mistake cost about $350. Forgot to put in the video. I think it was about $350 for Turbo Mistake. Hope those problems don't get you down, man. Having issues myself. Tim, dude, now, like, I just walk away. Dude, I'm not pushing. That's why I'm not cutting all this out tonight. I said, let's get on live. Let's chat for a minute. I'm just to the point now where I just don't care. I don't care no more when this car gets done. I still work on it, but I'm not going to sell my soul anymore, you know, to try to make this car go, I guess you can say. What is that, Goons Squad? Goons Quad? Whatever. No, I've never even heard of that channel name. I'll have to look it up. I don't even hardly have time for the channel stuff. Like this morning, I sat down and turned YouTube on, and believe it or not, there was like a bitter taste in my mouth. So like, I started watching the car stuff, and I was just kind of like, ugh. I actually watched Cletus's with the F-150 stuff because I was kind of interested in let's see what's going on with the F-150s. And then I started trying to dig for F-150 builds, and there's nothing out there. Like, if you can recommend some channels, I don't want to see the racing. I fast forward to the racing. I don't care about the racing. I want to see the guts and the inside of these F-150s that are really running numbers. Like, and I'm not. I just resubscribed to Own the Gas. I was subscribed to Own the Gas. They started annoying me. I unsubscribed them, but I just jumped back on their channel again to start trying to peek and nose around at the F-150s and what everybody's doing. Let's see here. Do you like VGG on YouTube? I don't know what VGG is. Also, you will overcome, fix the situation. Yeah, Frankie. I mean, I will. We'll get there. Needs a good cheap work truck. Have you got one? Alan. Alan, I literally just posted a work truck, a 2010, I think it is, or 2009 F-150 single cab short bed. I posted it on my personal Facebook page Friday, I think, to test the waters. I think I listed it at like 98 or 95, which is outrageous. But with the trucks, it's kind of like filling the price out, what it's worth. I wanted to see if I got any messages. Vice Grip Garage. I don't do Vice Grip Garage because it's like repeat. It's like the same stuff. Let's find the car, see if we can get it running, and then go from there. And you know I'm obsessed with stuff that looks good, so I'm never going to try to get anything running in the fields. We're going to throw it on a rollback, and we're going to go paint it, and then we're going to try to get it running because I do everything completely backwards. If y'all were around when I originally did this car, I painted it before I even built the front end. Completely backwards. The next car we'll probably paint while we're welding and then have to repaint on the backside just because I can't look at something ugly. I can't freaking handle it. The work truck I posted on my personal page. It was ridiculous this morning. I lowered it 8,500 to test the water to see if I got messages because it goes back to that supply demand thing. That's how you figure out what something's worth. I got no messages at 8,500. So Monday morning I'll probably delete it and come down some more. But the wife just posted it, and she normally posts it more accurately. Like, she looks up the values and everything, and I just do it right out. Timothy, SRC. I think I'm currently subscribed to SRC. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. SRC. So we're with them at the track. Like, we do dig or die. We've been around them a couple times. They're good people and everything, but their videos for me, I don't know. The cars, a lot of times, I guess, not over the top for me. They're fast. Them boys are fast. Like, you can't deny that. They're fast. They're good people and all that. But for some reason, that channel just does not capture me, man. It just doesn't capture me at all. I'm not an S10 fan, so they don't capture me. They don't do it for me. I like the Falcon. The Falcon is my favorite. But I don't know. That channel just, I've been subscribed, unsubscribed, back and forth. I'm picky with my subscriptions also because I don't have time. So when I get on there, my subscriptions, I keep it very cleaned up with what I'm actively watching or wanting to watch. But right now I think, subscribed to Old Man's Garage. I actually watched half of one of his videos last night. And then SRC, I do watch a couple. But like I said, normally I get up to like the racing part and then just turn it off because like I don't want to see the racing. I don't want to watch the racing. You're doing 1/8 mile or quarter mile stuff or roll racing. So 1/8 mile, it will always be 1/8 mile. Basically do everything John and Randy does. No quarter mile, no roll racing. Let's see here. Agree on the video today. You can't stand that donk look. The donk look, the Carolina squat look, you mean. The F-150, I'll go ahead and give you a little teaser. I told John Thursday night at the racetrack that I think if we do an F-150, we might go for the 26s. We might do big rim racing because I have to be different. So everybody does the F-150s. Everybody puts them on radials and skinnies. I don't want to be like everybody else because then I'm competing reviews for every single body else. On the gas, they lower them and do the big rims. But I kind of want to do the drag streetcar on big rims and do some big rim racing. Yes, and Percy looked like a gasser and it was ridiculous. But we'll see where the F-150 stuff goes. Gen 2 Coyote, under 60 miles and shipping only less than 25,000. Tim, no. First off, I don't ship any of my Coyotes, and there's actually a kind of a waiting list around here. So the next, if you know, I have a spare Coyote for this car now, but there's a hole in the block, so it's kind of not a spare. It has probably a good crank, heads and all that. So that's like my spare parts motor right now. But I'm still looking for another buildable Coyote for a backup for this car and the new car. And now we need another one for an F-150, unless we buy an F-150 with a Coyote already in it. So I need another F-150 or another Coyote for myself. I need a Coyote F-150, so that's 2. And then the third Coyote I get, I'm going to, man, I don't even know if I can talk about this. There's somebody that y'all know that I'm gonna give an F1 or I'm gonna give a Coyote to for free. So we'll just leave it at that. Somebody that's needing or wanting a Coyote that y'all know that's gonna get one. So I've got a waiting list right now of like 3 Coyotes that I need. Let's see here. My mind and anger eats me. I'm not smart enough to walk away. Certainly, I can't eat it. Tim, normally I'm not either. Normally I'm not. It's just recently I was like, dude, I gotta walk away. Let's see here. You thought about maybe it's supposed to help. So the vertical live, I literally just switched it to horizontal. It said recommended, but like vertical, you can see more of the background, I guess. Normally we do horizontal, but when I did this one, I literally just switched it to vertical. Is that like, does it show up different on y'all's end besides like the picture is just like a normal video? Because the horizontal on my end, you have the picture at the top and then the comments at the bottom. And I guess when we do it vertical, the comments are on the side. Let me know if like the horizontal like we have it right now, if that's different than traditional vertical. If horizontal is different than vertical on y'all's end. Yeah, I seen Murdernova's F-150. I tried to watch their most recent video and the quality sucked. The sound quality, and I couldn't do it. Last one. Cletus. So the interesting thing about Cletus's channel is that I just started watching it just to try to learn on the editing and what he does. Like I can't edit to his level. I don't have people that follow me around and film, and I don't have the extra people in the background, the characters. It's good when a channel has characters like SRC and Cletus. They have characters, and that's what makes them channels grow so much. And a lot of people don't understand that. But me and John was actually just talking about it Thursday night at the track, of just paying a little bit closer attention to what some of these bigger channels do. So I've been watching some of Cletus's stuff to just try to really pay attention on how the edit is cut up, how fast stuff is flowing, stuff on the backside that we are paying attention to. The Lexi tattoo, so that was my dog. Actually, I lost her to cancer. So when I was like 18, when I first moved out on my own, I got this puppy and had to bottle feed her, and because she got like dumped on the side of the road, raised her all the way up, had her for like 10 or 12 years or something. It was a long time. We went through some of the toughest times of my life, and when I found out I was going to lose her to cancer and had to put her down, I went ahead and actually got her paw print stamped. So I don't think we ever talked about this on the channel. So that paw print is actually like detailed. So like there's like the cuts of her pads. So we inked her pad at my house actually and stamped it on the arm, and then had a tattoo or tat over it identical to it. So it's basically a fingerprint. And then I named her after Lexus, the car, and so Lexi, and so the guy that tattooed it took the Lexus logo and twisted it and changed it, you know, with an eye, and that's why it's there. 2.6 million subscribers, uses an Apple phone. Yet a lot of big YouTubers, Whistling Diesel, Cletus, a lot of them are still filming a lot of their content on iPhones. Let's see here. What else do we got? Did you used to have a Prelude? I did not have a Prelude. I don't know who had a Prelude. I've never been into cars. When I was very young, my first car was actually like a Grand Am. This was Pontiac Grand Am. This was back in the Fast and Furious era. So like we did the whole neon lights underneath it, and then I had a Chevy Cavalier that put the stupid wing on the back of it, neon lights. But this was like high school days. But no, I've never owned a person who owned a Honda in my life. Carolina Squat kills transmissions. Big rims would be great. Would love to see it. Chevy truck with easy on mod is the F-150. So the Chevys, maybe. I'm not really 100% sure. The F-150s just make a lot of power right out the box. And I used to be a Chevy guy, and now I'm not no more, really. And a lot of the reason why I'm not a Chevy guy no more, I'm looking down here at the computer. A lot of the reason why I'm not a Chevy guy no more is how the accident happens and how they get totaled and what fails in a wreck with a Silverado versus a F-150. That's why we buy F-150s. It's my opinion that you have. Frankie, my goal is to make everybody a family. Like I said, I want to take everybody with me. So I want everybody that's on here, I want all y'all to have good looking cars. I can't help you build the motor and I can't help you go fast with the motor wise, but we're going to have the baddest looking cars on the property, the best looking paint. Like, we're going to freaking win some car shows, and I want everybody's vehicles to look good for as cheap as possible. How built is TJE new engine going to be? Turbo John's engine, how built is it? I don't know a lot about engines, so again, I don't pay attention to that stuff. I know he just got the pistons back. I seen them Thursday night. He just got the pistons back and rods and stuff like that, so I think that engine's going to be pretty decent, honestly. Ton of Coyotes, forget Miss Maverick's channel. So Amex Racer, Miss Maverick's channel is another channel that I have been subbed to since the very beginning because I'm a Maverick fan, but I can't get down with it because of the looks. I can't watch it hardly. I watch very little of that channel. I love how she's into Mavericks and you know, everything, and I will never unsubscribe from her channel because I like her. I like Tony. They're really good people, and she's faster than me. I mean, she knows more than me about drag racing. She's faster than me. She probably tree me, cut my head down on the tree. She probably outrun me the whole 9 yards. So all around a better racer than me. But again, when I sit down and watch YouTube, I am searching like a shark for appearance. I'm subscribed to Steve Morris's racing channel where they do the build engines and different things like that. But I almost like want to fall asleep with the performance side of things. And I'm just like, that's the reason why I love Kai Kelly's stuff, because of the way his cars look. I love Justin Swanstrom stuff because of the way the cars look. You know, I get ideas. I feed off of the way them cars look and the way Wizard race cars and Cameron Johnson race cars. I like them, you know, also following them, which Cameron don't do anything hardly, and I don't think Wizard has a channel, but you can see Wizard stuff through Kai Kelly and Justin. And so I like seeing how they do stuff. And I'm paying attention to like what Zeus fastener they're using and how they're attaching lines. Are they using zip ties or are they not? Like, I just zone into that stuff and just eat it up, man. Let's see here. 10 Soldier, yes, 10 Soldiers. I'm sorry, I completely dropped the ball on that. If a 10 Soldier video is on and they're building something or working on something and not necessarily racing, absolutely, definitely one of my top favorite channels. I think I will turn the 10 Soldier video on before that. And the most recent favorite 10 Soldiers video was when they did the walk around of that black G-body. Amazing. If I could watch videos like that all the time, walk around of the cars and a talking of how they built the car, I would watch that all the time. I would never click a racing video if I could watch how they build the cars. Really good at doing stuff. I am subbed to that channel, and I originally jumped on that channel because of him doing the Coyote stuff. But again, I don't watch a ton of it because when you start talking about the tuning and stuff like that, I'm lost. I fall asleep. I zone out. John teaches me on the tuning stuff, and it's hard enough for me to learn working one-on-one with John that I'll be sitting there trying to watch somebody tuning on YouTube or whatever, and my brain is just off in left field. Like, I'm not paying attention at all. It is good. Comments on the right. Okay, so Maverick was at Texas Speed. Thought she was begging for the engine. Maybe. It makes it look like a short. Huh. I did not know that. How's Brian doing? Brian's doing good. He's been at Randy's a couple times helping Randy, as you've seen in John's video and stuff like that. So Brian's doing good. Let's see here. Polishing turns, yep. Man, I can't keep up. Let's see here. Yes, virtual gives a short view. You'll see the comments on the video. Vertical gives a short view. You'll see the comments on the video. Don't become a big channel, bro. We like it how it is. Let's see here. Old Man's Garage films and edits on his iPhone. Dude, Old Man's Garage I was showing my wife the other night, is absolutely sitting at top of edit quality. The amount of time that he spends on that drone and capturing that footage is mind blowing. Like, you sitting there watching, you don't even understand the amount of time just to capture the film, not including the editing. That would almost irritate me to get that big, because I feel like it would slow me down when I'm trying to go somewhere. I continuously have to stop and fly a drone to get footage and everything. But he's pulling the views. Views equals money. I know he's making it on YouTube. It's just, man, that's a lot of freaking work. See here, they use the Apple phone, 2.6 million subs. That is crazy. Did I hear Diesel? I was talking about Whistling Diesel, the channel. You like Falcons? Just like on spare lens. So I like the street racing channel's Falcons, and I like the TKM. What is it? Or is that a Fairlane? What is the TKM one? What is Kevin's car? Man, my mind just went blank. Whatever that is, I like the way that looks, but I don't know. No, I guess none of the other cars really grab me. I like a Malibu, a two-door Malibu. I like a Nova. I do like the, what's the other one? Tommy's. The Falcon. I don't really get down with the Pintos. Yeah, I like the Nova. I like, I guess, little cars like that. Why don't you recommend buying clean titles from IAA? Okay, so where are we at? Keeps jumping around. So IAA is a salvage auction. If somebody puts a clean title in there, it's because we are dumping it. Dealers are dumping it. So when I show y'all, I've showed you on the channel how I dump cars. Now, I've had people put out threats that I'm a piece of crap for dumping cars. Guess the Galaxy, that's what it is. That I'm a piece of crap for dumping cars and all that. But that's all we do. If you look up the Wilmington auction and the Castle Hayne auction, and if you for IAA, and you change the search results, and you filter out, you do insurance cars only, that's going to only leave you with about 40% cars. 60% of the cars are not insurance cars, and they're dealer dumps, meaning clean titles and stuff like that. Clean titles and all that stuff is complete trash in our world, because people are dumping them because they got engine problems, transmission problems. Your wrecks, they don't normally, I've showed a couple on my videos. Normally, wrecked cars don't have engine and transmission issues. Clean titles cars, they have engine and transmission issues. So that's why we don't buy clean titles. We don't own them, we don't buy them. It takes more money to buy them, it takes more money to sell them, meaning you have to sit on them long. You can't turn and burn and flip them as fast as you can a salvage. You can flip salvage way faster than clean titles. I have clean title dealers, I've had them look me in my eyes and be like, how do you sell your cars within 2 days? Because some of our cars are gone, some are 12 hours. The same day we post them, every now and then one will sell. And I'm like, what do you mean? If we have a car for over 2 weeks, we're kind of like, that's crappy. And they're like, dude, most of my inventory sits for 6 months before I sell it. And I'm like, that's because you're doing freaking clean titles. You're asking way high. Average person can't afford it, and it sits. I don't want inventory sitting. Salvage title is like hustling. You can turn and burn them things, man, like fast, way faster than you can clean titles. You can paint mine. One thing, it's just an idea that I'm thinking about doing, is I am thinking about painting somebody's car for free on the channel with a cheap paint job. So it'd be like the ALK, Nikki Bobby's channel. Yes, I have watched quite a bit of Nikki Bobby stuff, but it seems like lately Nick ain't really been putting out no content, man. It's like that channel's been dead. But I'm thinking about at some point when I can financially afford it and I got the time, maybe the car's running, it's in the trailer, we're just racing it, doing like a giveaway where we basically paint somebody's car for free on the weekend, or maybe we just do it just to give back to the community, give back to the subs that are watching, and you know, hopefully it goes to somebody who actually watches all the videos, and just put out like a really cheap paint job. But that is an idea that I have shot back and forth a couple times. I mentioned it to John, mentioned it to my wife, and I was like, man, at one point I would love to come in on a Saturday morning, scuff it, prep it, paint it, shoot it, everything, and put it back in your trailer by Sunday and send you on up the road. I'm talking about the F-150s. And then she gets too many free handouts. Do you know the history of Percy Flowers? If not, it's something you need to do. So the reason why the car is named Percy Flowers is because I was actually watching a documentary on Percy Flowers. So I had, we actually did a video on picking the name of the car way back when the channel first started. But I had a list in my phone of different names, and that was one that just never got dropped off the block. And I was watching on the Moonshiners and Bootleggers, and he was only like 1 hour up the road from me, where they were from, and so that was the reason why that was a contender, is Percy Flowers. So yeah, I big time know the history. I've done research and I've done some reading on it to better educate myself with, you know, the basic knowledge. Not super deep, but the basic knowledge, I guess. Definitely 10 soldiers. Those nice plates will work. I think we can turn 90 degrees. The hole is longer in front than the rear. So Robert, the plates, they don't matter really, because then when we get the car down to ride height, the lower control arm, the shock mounting point, is wrong and it will just collapse again. So that's what I was kind of talking about in the beginning of this video, is it don't even matter what we do up here. If we set the car to ride height and use the upper control arm, it just kind of all dawned on me this afternoon. I've been trying to make things work, and when I put the fender on, you know, that's when I realized it. Let me see here. Let's hold on one moment. My wife keeps messaging me, and I got my phone, so I can't text on the phone. All right, let's see here. Back to the questions. Let's see here. Yeah, so the plates, that was the problem with the plates. Pete's Music, yeah, that's how he actually got started. Kevin's is a Galaxy. Flip the plate over and put it on top, spacers if needed to set ride height. The worst you can do is clearance the tower and maybe the plate. So Tyler, the issue again is the top control arm. So it don't really matter what we do up here. If we mount a shock off of here into the top control arm, I have since then learned and confirmed that the car will just fall out like it did, because of, if we back up a couple of videos, because of the angle. So to get the appropriate ride height using the top control arm, the suspension is going to collapse. It don't matter what spring, it don't matter where we put that up here, nothing. In order to keep it not collapsing, the car has to sit up higher, because that keeps that transition from the shock mount to the ball joint flipping. Are you going to start over on the front suspension, Paul? So I'm probably going to cut all of this off right here. So that's why this is all mocked up right here. The shock is actually down here. This is a bolt right here that is holding the top of the shock up. We're going to mount it off the lower control arm, I think is the answer. So the top of the shock is going to be down here where my hand's at, not up here. So I've been sitting out here this afternoon, and that's what I was kind of brainstorming, is do I want to take a saw and cut it right here and what is it called, scab it or whatever, like we did, and then come up here and cut it down low and basically run this bar down to an adjustable ride height cup, and then run from that bar to kill into our new bar? Or do we want to save a little bit of time, not mess with these bars, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards, cut the hats back off? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to lose the hats. We're going to take a saw, cut all of this off, cut the spider webs out front, cut all of that off, clean the tubes up, and then just put right here where my hand's at, the adjustable cup, the jack bolt that we were running on the car with the Pro Charger, put the jack bolts back in the car, and just kick down some bracing to that, and then mount the shock off of that. So as of right now, with this still in the car, with me brainstorming, I think we're just going to leave this bar here so we don't have to redo all this, even though it won't be that bad. And just basically do some kick downs to that. Amex Racer, I've briefly touched on it. We're not doing struts because of I guess the money and the time. I'd have to I talked about that in my most recent video, so I don't know if you watched that, but we're not doing struts just because I think we can get the car to the track faster with what we already have. The geometry of the suspension works perfect. The shock, where the shock is mounted at on the suspension, is not perfect. So where the shock is mounted at is the problem. The geometry of the suspension is not the problem. With the shock mounted on the upper control arm, the geometry is the problem, if that makes sense. But if you take the shock out of the equation, the way the bump steer works, everything moves up and down perfect. Let's try to catch back up. Let's see here. Are you going to start over? Can you get more in depth on the Chevy versus the Ford being totaled? Yes, real quick. So sit tight, everybody. When a Chevrolet gets hit in the wheel, okay, if it takes a decent hit to the wheel, they will always buckle the frame behind the upper control arm. We have a frame machine, but I don't pull actual frames. I pull unibodies and upper structures like this and stuff like that. Little weak, easy stuff. A Chevrolet kinks behind that control arm and messes alignment up every single time. When a Ford gets hit at the wheel, I don't know how familiar you are with the way the Chevys work and the Fords work. Ford is a strut where it has upper and lower control arms just like a Chevrolet, but when the Ford takes the hit, it does not kink the frame. It has little tabs like a Fox body K member would have down where the lower control arm bolts to it, and what it does is it takes them tabs and it just sways them back. It doesn't kink the frame, so the frame doesn't kink. The mounting tabs of the lower control arm, it sways back until the momentum stops. So what that allows me to do is put it on the frame rack. I hook the tabs and I just scoop the tabs back forward where they stand up perfectly straight, and we're good to go every single time. Throw control arms in it, send it to alignment, it checks out, it aligns out perfect, it's good to go. The Chevrolet, like I said, it kinks. The frame literally right here will push in and it will kink, and it's just way bigger of a nightmare to fix that. So Chevrolets are just not good trucks to buy if you're flipping or owning them or messing with salvage, whereas the Fords, they hold their value better than Chevrolet on the Blue Book side, and the suspension, the way it absorbs the impact every single time, they sway backwards versus kinking the frames, unless it's like a crazy hard hit. Old Man's Garage is all on the phone, yeah. Kevin's Galaxy. Taylor Ray is a drifter. So somebody mentioned Taylor Ray. It might have been you. I did subscribe to Taylor Ray's videos. No, there was actually a Facebook post on what's your favorite car YouTuber, and I think I subscribed to like 5 of them just to check them out. I did sub to Taylor Ray's, but I have not watched anything on his channel yet. But I don't like drifting at all, but it did look like he did good builds. Do you ever get Junior Bissett to do anything for you or so on anything? I don't get Junior Bissett to do anything. I don't know Junior Bissett personally. I know he's very local. I like his work. I like his style. He's on my Facebook. He's a really good guy. But I do everything myself. So like I do every freaking thing myself. Or Mike, who we refer to as Uncle Mike on the channel. I'll have Mike do some welding for me, but pretty much besides that, I do everything myself. I prefer to do it all myself because I enjoy the building, so I don't want to give anybody the build. If I was going to give away something on this car, it would be giving away the driving. So I would literally do all the labor and all the work and all the building, and then I'd pay somebody just to drive the car. That's how my brain works, because driving just doesn't interest me as much as the actual building does. So I would definitely never pay anybody to build something if I could do it myself, because it strips all the joy out of it. Let's see here. Nick's YouTube is also good. Yep. That would be awesome, having a giveaway. Rust-Oleum Old Base paint. I've used that. Do you build Turbo 400s in a shop? Okay, so Jackson, say I built mine. Enjoy Turbo John. It's funny that you not enjoy the people you watch. You would never enjoy them, and it's funny how we are all different. We are all different. Me and my wife are completely different. What's the process of getting insurance collision work for somebody starting out with a shop? What is the process of getting insurance collision work? Okay, so the biggest thing, like I have an insurance job in the shop right now, is just friends and family. So the only insurance work I do currently is friends and family. Long-term friends. The customer that's in the shop right now that we're doing it, I met with the adjuster on Friday before we locked up, and we're starting it tomorrow actually. He's been with me since like 2012. That was when I, like 2010, 2012, or yeah, 2012-ish, maybe even 13. So I still do his, but besides that, it's just word of mouth. So it's like a couple people that I know. But my collision work And my customer work is probably about, I'd say, 10% of my income. 5 to 10% of my income when you pay taxes is customer work, which we claim everything. We don't hide taxes. We claim everything because we're trying to get big loans in the future. But customer work is probably 5 to 10%. Everything else is flipping cars, and like that's where my bread and water's at. But dude, the insurance work, I would just start with word of mouth, put it on your Facebook, put it out there that you do insurance work, and just start growing off of that. That's how I grew. What about your shop in the house? Name of shop. The name of my shop, if that's who we're asking about, our technical legal LLC name would be CRC Auto Sales. And then I did, if you look up Facebook, we had CRC Auto Body and Paint. I really don't do nothing with that business. It's not registered or anything. CRC Auto Sales is going to be what my LLC is and what the tax ID number and everything for that. The YouTube channel has its own LLC and everything, but my actual income for my family is going to be CRC. Maybe some type of suspension stop to prevent the control arm from going past the point of collapse. Yes, so we actually have, it's funny that you mentioned that, we actually have a whole bump stop kit right here. The problem with that is if we limit it from going past the collapse point, then the car's not low enough. So that's what I was saying. To get the car down low enough, we are in the collapse zone, if that makes sense. So if we limit it from going to the collapse zone, the car's too high. 7.3 gas motor in the pickup. I did have a 7.3 gas truck. Could you change the shock mount on the upper control arm closer to the wheel? We cannot. And the reason why was where this is cut at, right here. I cut this out of the upper control arm. Where these cuts are made, this was the ball joint. So this was the ball joint like right here, however it looks. So you literally can't move the bolt holes any closer to the ball joint because this is the curve of the ball joint right here. So we've got this thing bolted as close to the ball joint as we can on the upper control arm. You physically, that's it. That's it. That was the crossbar. That was the ball joint. You can't get no closer. Struts. We need special spindles for struts. I would not be able to use these spindles for struts, but I would just be able to use an SN95 spindle or a Fox body strut or something like that. There's like 5 cars in the local pick and pull right now that I could go get spindles off of. And I think Mike said that he's got 3 sets chunked into the woods in behind his shop that I could get. So the spindles are no issue at all. It's just everything else that you would need. It totals up to, I think, 2,500 to 3,200 is a realistic number. Probably the 38 would be the sweet spot of about what it would take to switch over to struts. Drifting. So yeah, so Taylor Ray, it sounds like I'll like that channel. I'm definitely going to start checking that out more. If 10% is drifting, then I can skip them videos, and that sounds like that might be freaking perfect. Do you watch Devin's channel? I do watch Devin's channel. Devin is another very good channel. The problem with Devin is his stuff is so over my head. But like when I work through the Holly stuff, because I'm learning how to do the Holly, and I do a lot of it on my own, believe it or not, with John's help on a lot. But I resort back to Devin's channel for a lot of the how-to stuff. Turbo John's in the house. Oh, well, these are shock cups in there. Just build a new bracket to move the shock down. You get what you like look-wise. Get a shock. So John, he's probably already exited out by now. We would have to space it down to here. Here's where the shock needs to be currently. And do I even got anything out here? That will show y'all. Let's see here, the height difference. Let's use a dead blow. Everybody knows the orange Harbor Freight dead blow hammer. So that is where the shock is mounted at, height-wise, where it needs to be mounted at. And the hammer is almost all the way to the hat. So the hammer literally, let's see here, let's do it like this. The center of the hammer, where the shock needs to be mounted at, look at that. So the shock needs to be mounted down here for it to work. I've got it mocked up right now. We would be building an extension this tall. It would take an extension this tall to make that work. That is crazy. Imagine rolling up with an extension that tall. So we took the saw to the control arms and cut that out. We're gonna fix that. TJ someone asked how to build your big block is going. Don't you ever talk crap about me about being behind in the chats again. It's because I ramble too much, John. I ramble too much, but I'm focused on the comments. Build up a body shop and crash checking into the body. Crash checking into the body. Dude, I have no interest in building up my body shop. Shop truck was good. Do you have a dealer center, or who do you use for financing with selling videos? For selling vehicles. So every salvage, every vehicle that we sell is cash deals. So we don't deal with nobody. We don't finance nothing. We don't deal with anything. We literally just advertise that we count cash on like every single thing, or we use PayPal or Square or Cash App. We'll sell them on Cash App, or we'll swipe your Discover MasterCard credit card on Square. But every single one of our transactions, including most of the $15,000, $18,000 truck gigs, are all one big giant wad of cash. My whole business is ran on cash. Tabs are close together. You can make them wider. And the ball joint's just a fault. Yeah, we just can't go near the ball joint. Then it's all messed up. Have you ever thought about buying vehicles from Mannheim? I absolutely hate Mannheim due to the price. The prices of Mannheim with clean title vehicles are just way too high. The bolt for the shock would be above the ball joint. Tabs on each side of the ball joint. You can still remove the ball joint. Yes, we did. Me and Mike had at one point talked about even building something that instead of the shock being mounted here, cut these tabs out, redo a tab that kind of arched up right here because the ball joint's right here, and mount the shock up here where maybe it unbolted also, where you could take these tabs out and then still undo the ball joint. But when we do that, then that's going to change like the angle and the ride height. It's just not worth it. Man, you can sauce all this crap out. That's what I went to Mike's house this morning for like 20 minutes and talked to him. We can sauce all this out. We can stick this thing on the lower control arm. We can rehang like a shock hoop or something, hang these shocks and get this thing done. So after the run, turbo is here. Are you going nitrous? It's probably in after you run turbo. I'm not going nitrous because I'm too stupid to even have nitrous. I don't even know how to run the turbo. So running nitrous and reading plugs and all that, Lord, we don't need to burden Turbo John with that issue. And then the money that it takes to completely rebuild the engine, since TKM does all my stuff and I can't build my engines, I would be bankrupt doing nitrous. If you do nitrous, you got to build it yourself. So where did Turbo John get his name? So if you go to Turbo John's channel, what you should do, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, just like my channel and every channel. Go to your favorite YouTuber's channel, okay? And then at the top where it says like videos or whatever, you can do it on the computer and all that. It's going to say like popular, newest, and oldest. I think it's like 3 tabs. If you click the popular one, you can see our biggest videos on the whole entire channel, like ones that pull monster views. If you click the oldest, I think it's the oldest, then you can go back to the original. And he actually has a video up on where he got his name from and how he got his name that you should definitely go to his channel and check out. But what I did to John a couple of weeks, it was like a month or so ago, so I went to his channel, loaded his videos up, and I just flicked like this, fast as I could. I got all the way back to the beginning, and then I just started watching all the way over, and it was cool to see him and Randy and everybody when they were starting out with YouTube doing all that. But I spent like one night, literally, I think I watched like 8 of his videos, like early videos, just back to back to back to back, like they're racing and everything. It was really cool. Yeah, we gonna get it figured out, man. We gonna get it figured out. There's like tons of different ways. I mean, you could do this multiple ways, but I'm just trying to do it I don't know, the way I'm gonna be happy with, you know, but also a timely manner, I guess, where we can get this done in a timely manner. They said this is what I'm doing now is not hard. You know, once we stop trying, sometimes it's easier. And I've told my wife this every single time. I've been putting it off and putting it off. That's what I've been doing with your channel. I've been watching the beginning. Dude, everybody should go back and watch the beginning. I have put out a ton of freaking content. It's crazy. But I have been putting off the cutting everything apart, believe it or not. I'm trying to get it to the track. Like, I know a lot of people think it don't, and I stepped back, but I was just trying to get it to the dyno and to the track. And I would love to go struts right now. So if I wasn't doing YouTube, honestly, all jokes aside, truth, if y'all weren't in the picture, I would probably stop on the car. I'm about $4,800 in the hole. I shared this very openly with everybody. I'm about $4,800 in the hole right now. So stacking another 32-ish, 35-ish on top of the 48 that I'm in the hole, I just made an $800 payment. That got me down to 48, so I was 800 over. I was like 50 something, 5 something. That would put me knocking on, what is that, $9,000 in the hole in this car if I go struts. That's a lot looming over my head. I don't make a lot of money just like everybody else. But if YouTube wasn't in the picture, I would just stop on the car. I leave it alone. I wouldn't race it any this summer. I wouldn't even think about racing it, wouldn't care. And I would pay my bills down. Well, I would be moving at a slower pace. I probably wouldn't even have credit card debt. YouTube actually pushed me to build credit card debt. I would slow down and I would put struts on the car. So I would pay it down and then order the struts and just let the car sit because I'd much rather have struts. We did not go struts out the gate because if you add it up, we should have been able to do this setup for not a lot of money. I think I paid $1,500 or $1,800 for these mincers used. They're very expensive shocks. They're very nice shocks. They came with one set of springs. So what we were looking at from the beginning was buy the mincers, buy a couple fittings, and we were done. So we were $2,000 is what we were pretty much on the budget to change over to this. And that is what we thought we were getting into. Now I have bought springs, I bought so many ball joints, heim joints, chromoly tubing. I paid Mike, he cut me a tremendous deal. I'm not going to disclose what we paid, but I paid, a very good deal on the control arms for the amount of labor and time that was into all this. But I'm more in a worse position now financially with the double A arms than I would have been to go struts from the beginning. But like I said, we were supposed to only spend $2,000, 18 of that being shocks roughly, to make the change. We weren't supposed to be completely upside down in it. But that's one of the things that I do these videos so other people, hopefully, if they have a Maverick or they're building something from scratch, hopefully they'll back up and they'll watch the build all the way from November the 23rd up to here, and then they'll be like, man, I really need to think it out, and maybe they'll just do it right out the gate like me. I was obsessed with these hats, and if I would have went struts from the beginning, I could have had my hats, I could have had my struts, I could have had all of that. Me and John had also talked about it, that the double A arms with the bump steer and everything, that they kind of work better, that your double A arm setup will keep your tire more in line than like a strut setup. But now Mike has educated us, and it was in John's video when Mike was explaining how to set a strut up to make it where there's like no bump stop. There's science behind it, everything, or no bump steer. So we are here. This is where we're at, and now we're just trying to get it to the track. I told Mike this morning, literally, that we're just going to do this. If I still want to go to struts next winter, we'll cut it back apart over the winter, and we'll put struts on it then. But what I'm about to do now should cost me like $60. I should be able to fix this thing for like $60 and hopefully freaking walk away from it. Let's see here. Really like the painting videos. I'm gonna try to do more of the painting videos. Like I said, they're better financially for me. They pay me better long run, but they pull video. It's a real slow climb to pulling them views. But I do like them. I don't want to run everybody off too. I want to do more salvage and more painting, but we want to be careful with our subs and pay attention to not run them off and do too much of it. But we are going to slowly transition, especially as this car gets where it's race ready. When this car is race ready, hopefully we put this thing in storage. Hopefully we can buy an F-150. We will all go across the journey of what I pay for it, how I buy it. We will daily drive it, and then we will drag race it, and we'll get faster and faster with it. We'll keep racing this thing as hard as we can, as much as we can. But when we have nothing to do, on the weekends that we have nothing to do, we'll mess with the F-150. And then when we have no videos to put out, we'll put out more painting videos and more salvage videos. So that's where we're going to go back to once we can slow down on this thing in the back. Do you sell the vehicles fixed up, salvage title, or rebuilt? So we repair all of our cars. A rebuilt and a salvage title is the exact same thing, basically. So there's some states, not necessarily North Carolina. A salvage title is pre-repair, before the repair. So the salvage title is like in its rec form from the insurance company. As soon as you register that salvage vehicle, it changes to a rebuilt title. So some states you have to have an inspection to get it from salvage to rebuild. North Carolina, we don't have to do anything. As long as it's not 6 years or newer, meaning 6 years old or newer, if that makes sense, then we don't do anything. We purchase it from the auction, we bring it to our shop, we repair it, we put it through an emissions inspection because we are an emissions county, a normal window tint, muffler, check engine light kind of inspection, and then we sell it. They take their paperwork, they go to DMV, and they register it. When they get their title back, it is now rebuilt. There's no inspection here, as long as it's not 6 years or newer. If you buy 6 years or newer, you have to have an inspection, but they don't look at the quality of the repair. All they check is the receipts for all of the parts, where you got the parts from, and they're making sure you're not buying stolen parts and that you have documentation where you got it from. That's it. They don't look at the car. They don't look at the quality of the bodywork. They don't check the frames. They don't check anything in North Carolina where I'm at all. It's that simple. It's buy a salvage, repair it, and sell it. No inspection needed unless it's 6 years or newer. Monza's new Chevelle is badass. Monza's new Chevelle is flat out amazing. I have a feeling I will be doing the same type of trial and error with Pontiac front suspension when I get there. Not there yet. Well, hopefully you can learn a ton off of this channel of what not to do, such as maybe don't put the coilover on the top control arm, and if you are, then don't make it where the shock is below the ball joint. That's definitely something that you probably should not do. Would it perform better with struts? So everything that I'm learning, I don't know a lot, but from what Mike tells me and John, because Mike is just, man, Mike don't like to be on camera, so y'all don't understand how smart that guy is. But if the double A arm is set up right and the strut is set up right, they're identical, as long as they're done right. But Mike has even said that getting the double A arm right is harder than getting a strut right. If you're building from scratch, getting the double A arm right is harder than getting the strut right. It's just we've learned a lot at a fast pace over the past couple months, a lot. So like I said, if we could go back, I would have just hung struts on it and been done. And there's more reasons to why I would have hung the struts on it also, but that's the basics of it. Bump stops. Don't forget the bump stops. We are trying to avoid the bump stops. So the shocks, where's the other shock at? Over there. It has that rubber on it. That rubber is a bump stop. I mean, I was actually watching YouTube. I told John the other night, you can actually go on YouTube and watch videos on how to measure how much your bump stop needs to be on your shock. Like in the road course world, circle track, dirt track, all that stuff, they use that rubber bushing that's on the shock as a bump stop. It's designed to be slammed on and to stop. So that will limit our downwards travel. The only thing that we might need to limit would be, well, that would limit upwards travel, yes. The only thing we might need to limit is the downwards travel. And then with this new setup, hopefully we won't. Hopefully the shock will max out before the ball joint does, is the goal. But if it don't, if I can't get it like that, then we'll just use the limiters to make sure it doesn't max out too far. The painting tips and tricks are great. Love doing them. Let's see here. The golf cart video is the best. So we were on a roll with Chris Kinney, the owner of Night Train, doing some golf carts, and he actually called me the other week about like a gig for like 50 cart bodies, I think, but I haven't seen them yet, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, the golf cart videos were pretty good. I felt like they were getting played out because I did like 6 videos on painting golf carts. Need an inspection in Illinois. How far are you from Bristol, Tennessee? I have no clue how far I'm from Bristol, Tennessee, but I can tell you that the ocean in the middle of the night with the stoplights flashing, I can get to the beach in about 15 minutes, probably 10 minutes, Wrightsville Beach, in the middle of the night where I don't have to stop for traffic. So I'm like as far to the water or the ocean, the East Coast, as you can get. So decent amount, probably. Don't leave the turbo cover loose either. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Cameron Johnson builds a nice car. He definitely does. Struts would definitely be lighter. I didn't catch it again in the video. This might be covered. It looks like you need to raise the upper A-arm about 1.5 more at the chassis or a shorter spindle at the ball joints. So the upper A-arm, I was actually just recording that tonight. We can't raise the upper A-arm. Let's see here, I do have a ball joint. So, ball joint. We want when the car's at ride height, okay, we want the ball joint, when the car's at ride height, we want the ball joint like this. This ball joint, actually, this is what somebody was commenting on the channel the other day about the bearings, the ball joints of the bearings. We tried these. This has less movement than the low friction Summit Racing ones. We want to start out with the ball joint like this. So that's why we have the A-arm all jacked up. And then when we do our travel, when the A-arm travels, we want the ball joint to go like this. So we want to utilize the whole ball joint. That's why if you start with the A-arm like parallel, okay, let's say your ball joint was parallel with the ground and the A-arm was parallel with the ground. Then as it comes down, it moves down, you only have 50% of that sweep right there. That's all you have. So you want to start out with the A-arm like that, because the spindle, you don't really change the angle of the spindle. So your ball joint's in your spindle. So you can only change the angle of the ball joint, if that makes sense. So we want to start with the angle of the ball joint and the A-arm. We want it jacked up as much as we can. So we want that arm diving upwards as much as we can get it, so that as it comes down, it transfers like that to the other side. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with this angle of this upper A-arm. It is very important that we utilize the full sweep of the ball joint. When you have a strut, you don't have the double ball joints. You only have the lower one. If this A-arm was longer, then you would get more sweep out of the suspension before the ball joint went all the way to the other side. So if the A-arm was longer, it would take more travel to get it to the other side. When you have a short A-arm, the suspension reacts faster, so it changes quicker, meaning you can't get so much of a sweep. But we don't have the real estate from where the tire is at, which is like right with the outside of the fender almost, to where the Maverick frame rail is at. We can't get but a certain length of A-arm. Now we can take that A-arm and put it on top of the rails, which is how the car was with the Pro Charger. With the Pro Charger, the A-arms are mounted on top of the frame rails, and we can only get, I think, like 4 something or 5 something inches of travel. We now, I believe, when me and Mike calculated, man, I think it was 7 inches of travel, I think is what we got now. We got like another 2 or 3 inches of travel out of changing it. So that's why we spent so much time getting that upper control arm at a very nasty angle. You wouldn't put it at an angle if it was like a road course car or nothing like that, but we want it to utilize the ball joint, if that makes sense. Do you have to redo the hats if you're going struts? If I was to go struts, me and Mike both think that I do not have to redo the hats. We think that the strut would fall about right here, back here, right? Let's see here, no, up here, I think it was. Worst case scenario, we plasma cut the top out, we weld in a new plate, and we do a fixed strut mount with the alignment, or we'd put some caster camber plates in and adjust it, but we would not actually have to do, we don't think we would have to redo the hats. You would, in order to figure that out, I talked about it this morning with Mike, we would have to put the K-member in the car, we would have to put the spindle on the car, the tire on the car, and the strut on the car. And we'd have to set the car at right height. That would then show us where our spindle falls at in the top. But Mike predicts that we can nail this strut pretty much without having to change the hats if we went struts. With the majority of drag races being Chevys, why did you go Ford? Because of looks. So everything in my life revolves around looks. I don't like none of the Chevys. I think the Chevy, the Malibu, whatever, that would be like the only thing that I liked. I fell in love with the Ford Maverick and then found a Mercury Comet. It's actually not a Ford, it's Mercury, which I guess is the same thing as a Ford. But it's the looks. It's all about looks. All about looks for me. In the Fox body, the looks are played out. There's too many people's done them. There's some that look amazing, like Randy's. I like the way Randy's look. I like the way there's a purple Fox body out there that sits really low. It just looks freaking gorgeous. There's like a white one that sits low. It looks gorgeous. There's a couple of them that look amazing, but there's so many of them that it's just, the looks don't do anything for you, I guess. Cracks me up when you say water. Water. Yeah, that's the accent. I had somebody chew me a new one on the channel the other week for saying something wrong. My wife gets a kick out of how I say water and then oil, like motor oil. She dies, and there's a couple another one, I can't remember what it is, that we don't say right. John got in trouble on his channel, actually, the other week for how he was saying something in the comments. Somebody went to his butt, too, about how he can't speak English. Blizzard, dude, send the Blizzard my way, please. Let's see here. Does that not throw the geometry of your alignment out? So, I'm guessing you're talking about with a control arm. No, it doesn't mess the alignment up because we're purposely building. So if you build something from scratch, you can basically put anything anywhere you want it as long as it works. So the whole goal here, when we set these control arms up, me and Mike, like I said, we spent a lot of time focusing on the angle of the control arms, and I think we messed up by not spending enough time on focusing on how the shock mounts. We kind of just breezed right over mounting the actual shock up, and that's where it messed up. We were so obsessed with that car at ride height, the tire sitting like this, and then when it's under full separation, the tire being the exact same. So we wanted that tire to move perfectly straight up and down. We were obsessed with that. So we changed the height of the upper control arm, the angles. We changed everything multiple times, focused on that tire moves up and down. Currently, that tire starts out, let's say, straight, and then it goes one way. I can't remember which way it was, but it goes one way, and then it curves back, and then it ends up back straight. It is freaking gangster how that thing works. But like, it literally, when it's under full separation, and you would be going down the track with the front end up, your alignment would pretty much still be dead on. As if you were at ride height, your alignment would still be dead on. It's the transition in between that it kind of snakes. We recorded it in one of the videos in the past of it moving up and down with the degrees on it. I think it changes like 2 degrees, 2 or 3 degrees, I think, total, which is, you barely can even see it with the naked eye. So it is absolutely amazing how it works, and that's another reason why it's so hard to switch to struts, because we have chromoly, double custom A-arms, that the wheel moves perfectly up and down straight. We messed up on how we mount the shocks. So if I can just fix how the shock is mounted, everything else should be freaking amazing, besides the bump steer. The bump steer is still one thing we have not calculated, but Mike says that that's the least of his worries, that he could care less about the bump steer, that he could fix that all day long, but that ain't nothing, as long as we get everything else right, because we're not scared to, you know, move anything or modify anything. And I've bought bump steer kits. In today's video, I showed that we can pretty much put that tie rod anywhere we want it at. You're losing available angle by the upper to lower A-arm angles being out of parallel. So if you back up where we built these, the car was originally, I was obsessed, before YouTube, I was obsessed over keeping the upper A-arm and the lower A-arm parallel. So the whole car was built with the lower A-arms parallel to the ground and the upper A-arms being parallel off of that also. That's how the car was originally built, the best it could. The upper, I didn't quite have it 100% because of the spread. So I actually had the lower was like parallel, but if this is the car, just like that, the frame rail, and this is the tire, I had the upper A-arm like this because I couldn't cut down the mounts anymore to move them down. And back then I wasn't doing custom stuff, so I was working with a certain width of a control arm, and it had to go on top of the frame rail versus cutting it short like we did and go to the face. I later have learned through Mike, and I tried my best to share this with everybody starting November the 23rd and moving forward when we started cutting the suspension apart, that the angle of the control arms, they just simply don't matter. And that's what, they don't matter if everything works together correctly. You can't just slap stuff together. But that's what I showed. I have a video up with this car with the jacks where we pick the body up and down, and that tire moves perfectly straight up and down. I'm almost finished. 2000 small tire car. I wish I was almost finished. I'm close. I love the out of the box ideas and the whole look of building a car. I greatly appreciate that. That's the whole thing, is I often do things the hard way because I'm trying to do them the cheap way, but then I awfully often do them the expensive way because I do so many failed cheap ways that if I would have just went the right way from the beginning, that it would have been cheaper. But by me doing all of these failed cheap ways, the final cheap way that I find that works, I hope that y'all will watch and y'all will go for that final cheap way. So I hope you won't lose all the money that I lost doing all the little failed cheap ways, and you'll just go right for the cheap way that worked. So such as this, all the money that I've wasted, you now could go reduplicate this setup when we're done for cheap because you would know what to go for right out the box. Like I've messed up on Heim joints, I've messed up on Heim ends, I've messed up on building the arms, like multiple, we've cut apart a whole nother set of control arms. Like I messed up on a lot learning, but you could take my videos and if you watch the whole things, all of them, you could duplicate what I got for freaking really cheap off eBay. You know, especially if you didn't spend a lot of money on a nice set of shocks, and you can make something that work really freaking good. Let's see here. 6.0 cert. If you're talking about my car, if it's a 6.0 cert, what is a 6.0 cert? I don't. Oh man. It's certed right there on the cage, but I don't remember. I guess it's a 6.0. I think it is a 6.0. I think it is. It is certed though. For the height, not height. There it is. Maybe Woody is the one that said height versus height or whatever. So I'm going to continue saying it. Height, I guess that's how I say it. I'm not trying to change it. I have a lot of words that I mispronounce, and I will just continue to use them wrong. That's just how it is. Like I said, I think that word the wife jokes about because she's from the north, and she said up north you don't hear that word a lot. Or hear the way we say it wrong, we just completely use the wrong word. Whatever we're doing wrong, like we're jacking it up when we say that. But when she was in the towing industry for IAA and she was doing transport, and they had to worry about the height of stuff a lot, clearances to overpass and stuff, and she says you hear it all the time down south. That it's amazing from being dispatch up north to dispatch down south, the amount of words that we mispronounce or we just use wrong or we just use the whole entire wrong word. Like, she points it out all the times how I'll use stuff completely wrong. And sometimes now I just honestly joke and just continue to just purposely use it wrong to her, just to irritate her, I guess. But yeah, that's just one of the words that is jacked up in my vocabulary that is just used wrong. And I'm too old and too dumb to even spend time trying to reprogram my mind on how to say that word or to use the correct word. Not a cert number, it's an ET, okay. There is a 6.0 cert. I do know that some are certed for 6.0, and mine is not a 25 anything. I'm pretty sure my car is a 6.0 if that's what y'all are asking about. Mine's not a 25 jack at all. Mine don't have all that stuff to cert at any 25 anything. I build a 25 1H. I'm certed for heavier weight. Use your new TIG yet. I have not used the new TIG. So the only person that has used the TIG is literally Brandon because I was working so hard on getting the car ready. And now that I have free time, I don't really have free time. I'm purposely taking free time to keep from going crazy and burning the car to the ground. And so I don't have it. Hopefully when this car is put up and we're racing it, then I will mess with the TIG. I'm going to learn to do the TIG. It's just I still pull the MIG out. I literally MIG'd this on today, splattering because it was a galvanized bolt. So you're supposed to stop and prep your bolt and clean the galvanized off, and you shouldn't be welding galvanized, period. But I did clean the paint off of this bar right here. But I literally just burnt through all the galvanized crap. You know, I had the side door open and just MIG'd it. Like I don't even take the time to do the prep work, to be honest. We do it nice because we do it twice. Paper says 25.2. 6.0 would be 25.2. I think Courtney's would be just 850. Maybe it is 850. Maybe the 850 is what mine's certed at. That actually does sound a lot right. We don't get tech down here, so I really don't pay attention to that stuff. It's not 25, 6.0 cert. You're not mispronouncing it. Height is not a word. Okay, so I'm using a word that's not a word. Man, I wish, yeah, that's what we do. Man, if my wife was here, she could literally tell you like 3 or 4 words that I use that are just completely made up, that are not even words at all. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are. She absolutely is obsessed with them. She thinks it's hilarious that I can't get it right. Man, I can't remember what it is. What's the Oh, instead of specific, I used to always say Pacific. Like, so, give me that Pacific, like, location. And when we got together, she'd be like, it's not the freaking ocean. It's specific, if that's even how you say it. So now to this day, when she says specific, I stop and correct her, and I'm always like, it's Pacific, like the ocean, and it's like an ongoing joke because I still don't think I say specific. I think I say Pacific, like the ocean. I really do. Courtney's have funny car cage and floor bars. So yeah, mine does not have a funny car cage or floor bars. I've got, I guess what would be classified as rocker bars. They were added after dessert, but yeah, mine don't have no funny car cage, no floor bars really. We just added the firewall bar, if you remember, because the firewall was not cut up. We just recently cut the firewall up and added the firewall bar just to brace this. When my car originally came out, the front wasn't even connected. If you were through the whole series, you recall that we just connected this to the cage. This was not connected. I used to have bars up here that deaded into the windshield wiper cowl right there and didn't even go to my cage at all. Like, it was crazy. Stock floors. Oh no. Sink is bad to breathe when burning. Yeah. Yeah, you don't really want to breathe it. You want to make sure you got appropriate airflow, for sure. Let's see here. How do I see guys running high 6s and 7s in states on 13 without certain cages? So Brad, there's guys down here that run. Man, I don't want to drop names. I'm not actually going to drop names. There's guys in the 4 seconds down here that only have like a 6-point or 8-point. You know, like, I mean, there's cars, maybe not the 4s, maybe low 5s. John would be able to give you better examples, which most of the time we don't want to give better examples because we don't want to put people out there like that. We don't get teched. So here in the south of the United States, for the stuff that we run, we don't get teched. Yeah, like he just said, we don't get teched. And that is another thing that's been come up on the channel multiple times. Like, people are just like, mind blown. We run like what you would call outlaw tracks. So like, pretty much, I'm gonna say 95% of the tracks that you see John run at, which I run at, and Randy run at, that you see us three tech or practicing on, or John racing at, there's no tech. So like Digger Diet, it was supposed to run this past weekend, there's no tech. Like, there's races, like we were testing at Kinston the other week, and like I seen open face helmets and just blue jeans, t-shirts, shoes, and just fast as you can go. There's no tech. All they care about down south around here is getting the gate money, and that's it. You're racing at your own risk. Like, there's some tracks that barely have safety, like barely have fire. Your best bet is to make sure that you have your fire suit, you have a fire spread system, and you have friends that hopefully can get to you, because some of these tracks, dude, the safety crew guys are outside of the fire truck watching the racing. I mean, I've seen it multiple times, and they're not even like ready to roll, you know, per se. And then there's other tracks that are amazing. Like when John raced at Texas, dude, they were on him like that. You responded to him. So I'm not putting any names with any tracks, but there's some that just don't really have no safety hardly at all. And then there's other ones that's a lot better. We don't run any NHRA stuff. My dad asked me about that. Or that, I just said dat with D-A-T. He just asked me about that a while back. He said that his church was going to some NHRA event and was John racing at it. And I was like, no, we don't run that stuff because they tech you. You know, like a lot of them classes. John and Randy and them don't purposely like not run that stuff. It's just not like what we race. Like, it's just not the stuff we race. Like a lot of the Carolina No Time stuff around here is not like, I don't know, whatever you call that they fall in, like whatever tracks they are or promoters, we just don't see tech like at all, man. Even MPK, when we did the filming for MPK, the only thing they look at is the weight of the car. So they check the weight of the car. I think they check, of course they want you to have a fire suit and your safety equipment, but they don't really like tech like I hear people talking about. The tech that y'all talk about in the comments, I've never personally seen in real life. Never. Like, I've literally never seen a car get teched like people talk about in the comments. Like, never. people that require NHR specs will tech. Yeah, and fun. Like I said, we don't run NHRA events. We just what John races. I don't race. First off, I'm a test and tune pro. That's what I'm running. But John and Randy, they don't run NHRA events. I mean, we know NHR hates no prep stuff. John's big on the no prep back at the track stuff, and so that's definitely not gonna be NHRA. And then Randy runs no time, like all still all glass stuff. That's not NHRA. That's like all we run basically, or front side no prep. 580s with no cage and a hard tire. Like, yeah, I mean, that's, we don't even bat an eye at down here, like at these tracks. Like, 580s with no cage, I mean, you see that all the time. If you look in the background, like when John's at the track filming, if you look at the other cars, if you can see, like, dude, there's a lot of, like, some of these street cars, these 1,000 horsepower Coyote cars and stuff like that. I mean, they're rolling with no cage at all, just a seatbelt, like a straight up tagged and insured car. Like, I don't know the times, but they're rolling. We don't have the tracks in Canada at all. Tracks. Having to buy new belts every 2 years for NHRA is bull. Yeah, like, we don't, I think, dude, did John just buy new belts? I think John changed belts. I think Randy might have changed belts too. I don't know the reasoning why, and I'm not even gonna, guess or make something up. But me personally, my belts, they expired before the car was even ready. So when I bought the belts, I was just, back then I was anxious to buy stuff. I could afford belts. I bought belts. Like, they literally expired this past year, and they have like no time on them at all, and they're kept in the garage, climate control, and they're already expired, and I will not be changing them belts. Like, there's no way I'm not changing them belts. They're expired, but there's no reason to. MPK does not go by NHRA rules. Yeah, no, we do not get NPK. Like, I'm telling you, NPK, I have personally been there with John, and they look at, let's see here, like the weight of the car, that you have a diaper or some kind of containment thing on it, and that's really only because they don't want to clean the crap up. So they want you to have an engine diaper or something so they don't have to clean the track up. And then, dude, they just like look, I think, to make sure you got your helmet and your safety gear, but they don't tech like y'all are talking about. Like, they don't dig through everything. They don't check dates on seatbelts. They don't check dates on your fire suits. They don't check dates on the Hans devices. They don't check none of that stuff at all. Like, they just make sure you got it. Sent the belts back. How much is it to get new tags put on the seatbelts? I'm curious. That's actually curious. I wouldn't mind having mine recerted, but then again, I mean, what are you buying seatbelts for? Mine are Quick, whatever that company is. What is it? Quick, Race Quick, whatever. I don't remember. Cheaper than new for sure. But the seatbelts I buy are cheap. Like, dude, they're like under $100. We have to restart the cage every 3 years, helmet every 6 years, belts 2 years, scatter shield 2 years. Yeah, see, we don't do none of that. Like, I know Randy and John's car got certed before John wrecked his. There was a cert guy down for something. I don't remember why or where, but I know they got cert tags, I think, put on them. I think John's did. I think Randy's did too. But they got certed just because the guy was around and just to do it. But we don't have to, like, we don't go to tracks where I could grab the tech card. I've got 2 or 3 tech cards in the sun visor right now that the tracks never even took from me. Like, I'm not even lying. The tracks don't even take the freaking tech cards half the time. Look. Actually, that's insurance. Street car. There's the most recent tech card didn't fall out. When was this from? Dude, I don't even. 11/19/23. Yeah, 11/19/23. They didn't even collect the tech card. That was the last, I think, race we're at, and I made a whole pass, plus went back up again into the staging lanes. We were actually in the race, and they didn't even take the tech cards. And then the other ones I've just thrown away. There's been a handful of times where I have bought tech cards, purchased tech cards, even though they don't tech, they sell you a card. Then they want you to turn the car in so that they have your name, your phone number, your address, emergency contact if you wreck the car. But then some of these tracks, they don't even take the tech card. Like they don't even, they just want you to fill it out. They sell it to you, want you to fill it out, but some of them don't even take them. And this is what I've seen personally with my own eyes. Pro One, what's up, bro? From Maryland. It's a clean car, dude. Makes me want to do my whole car. Anthony, I appreciate it a ton. Little fun fact: I was gonna repaint this whole car. The guys close to me knew. I've already purchased pearl. I already have another color. Everything else, I repaint the whole car. This suspension set me back so far that I'm not repainting the car. But yeah, dude, if I'm obsessed with the way the car looks. If it was you wanting to redo your car, trust me, I've already wanted to repaint my whole car just to repaint it. Just look, Pro One charge 180. Okay, so 180. But what is Race Quick belts? I don't want to get over here and ignore y'all and look it up. But aren't Race Quick belts like freaking like $100? So it's like instead of sending mine off, which mine have the passenger one, I think like has 1 or 2 weld splatter where little splatter has hit them, but I think it's like $100 to just get a new set of belts. Outlaw tracks, they say after a wreck you need to buy a new helmet too, but it's all for your own safety, so up to those people. Yeah, I mean, who do we personally know that has wrecked on YouTube? You know, how many channels do y'all follow that have wrecked and they still have the same helmet? Like down here, nobody does that. Now I know, like in the collision industry, if you get an accident with a car seat in the car down here, they'll cut the straps. Yeah, Ryan Mitchell, like they'll cut the straps. So we'll get wrecked cars in with salvage titles that there's car seats in the back. They'll cut the straps. The insurance company will reimburse you for the car seat. But the racetracks, like I don't know, they don't care, man. They just want that money. Titanium hardware. Yeah, mine don't have titanium hardware. Mine's actually, I don't have a bolt laying around. I do. Mine's bolted in. One side wraps around the bar, and then the other side is the factory Mercury Comet bolt bolted into the factory location. So if you were watching when we cut the center of the car out, I originally didn't even have the seatbelt point braced. It was crazy. Like it was just sheet metal. But we re-welded the tabs, the factory thick tabs, to the new crossbars to get a little bit more strength in the seatbelts. But mine still screw into the factory location on the inside of the car. The outsides, both of them loop around the cage, and then the backs, both of them loop around the cage. It's only the transmission side that still screws into the factory Mercury Comet location with the factory Mercury Comet hardware. No, not red paint. Shroud window net was cheaper to just buy a new one. Yeah, and see, we don't have to run window nets. Like nobody runs them down here, really. Whole bill, bro. Mad respect for each other. I greatly appreciate that, Anthony. Dude, everybody's messaging me on Facebook. I guess Sunday night and people are looking to buy cars. There's literally, as soon as I click it, 3 tabs opened up of messages. And they're all blinking at me. Did TJ buy a new helmet after the last wreck? I have no earthly idea. You'll have to ask John about his helmet and stuff. Can't even recall off the top of my head right now if it's the same one or not. He didn't tell me anything about it, but he might have replaced it, and I don't even know anything about it, honestly. That's not the helmet just kind of gets thrown to the side until it's race time, and most of the time when I walk away from the car to film, most of the time his helmet's not even on, or sometimes he's just putting it on, and when he's getting to the point of putting the helmet on, I'm walking away to go capture him like rolling up. So I can't even tell you what color his was. Didn't it used to be, or was like gray or something? Man, yeah, I don't even pay attention. Same thing with Randy's. What color is Randy's? Dude, I feel like Randy has a carbon fiber helmet. Dude, that would suck. How about if they laid like 20 different drivers or 10 different drivers' helmets out on the wall? It was like, Courtney, pick John or Randy's helmet and we'll give you $10,000 right now. Dude, I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed. Like, I don't even pay attention. I don't even know what their helmets are. Have you ever done any LA lace paint jobs? I don't know what a lace paint job is. I have no clue what a lace paint job is. Titanium belt tabs are an option with Pro One belts as well as magnets to stick the shoulder belts for funny car cage out of the way, and thin shoulder straps for the Hans. I have seen the thin shoulder straps. The magnets, let me give y'all a little tip. They're actually on my watch list and I've not purchased them. So you can go on eBay and purchase the, I've got them up here, like the Harbor Freight, the tool strips, the little magnetic strips. They have a hole in each end. You can get them anywhere from like 12 inches or 18 inches to like 6 inches to like 3 or 4 inches. Harbor Freight has them for like $2. Take them and you can zip tie them around your funny car cage or zip tie them around the roll cage. And normal seat belts, I don't know, is titanium magnetic? I don't even know. Steel belts like I've got, normal tabs, you can put them out there and stick right to it. They're black, they're out of the way, you peel the sticker off, nice. I was gonna add them to this one, but I never did. I never did add them because my driver's door is actually chipped on the inside where my belt keeps accidentally getting closed in the freaking door. Got to put that car on a shirt with your logo on it. So Anthony, I need to get shirts made, but you have to like purchase shirts. So if you purchase like an average order of shirts, I think it's like, I'm hearing like 1,000 or more, like for a average order of shirts, and then you've got to sell them and ship them. The company that I use that's on the bottom of all the YouTube videos, they basically just drop ship, like, or they just handle it. You can order one, and I just get a cut off each order. They're not like the greatest designs or nothing. They're designs I've made, but this year I do want to make some better shirts. I don't feel like I'm worthy of a t-shirt right now, so that's the reason why I have not made a t-shirt. I feel like in order to make like a race car t-shirt, if you're gonna like put the traditional car racing on there and everything, then you got to be running like a certain number or actually like be doing something. And I try to stay in my own lane, believe it or not. I don't talk like I'm some racer. I don't call myself a racer or nothing like that. I'm hoping that once we get the car out that we can start doing, some numbers, something decent, and then we can get a shirt made and all that. If I was to make a shirt right now, it'd probably have to be with the car tore apart with like somebody welding on it or something for me to feel respectable that I'm not faking it, I guess, because I don't do well with the faking it. Fake carbon look. Okay, so yeah, I've not done any of that paint job for customers. The only time I do any of them kind of paint jobs is when I do the fake carbon fiber on like race car stuff. Besides that, no. Do you guys have to use Hans at NHR tracks in the States? So I don't know. Yeah, right underneath Brad. Yeah, they're starting to mandate them. I know Randy purchased one. John's always had one, and I've always had one. I grew up a Dale Earnhardt fan. I remember the night when he died, and that's the reason why the Hans kind of came out, was invented, I guess. So I'm definitely huge on the Hans device. I will always wear mine. I will always go above and beyond with my safety because I want to come home to my kids. So I don't skimp out on the safety gear that you wear necessarily. Yeah, I don't have my belts reserted, my helmet reserted, or all that. But I bought all brand new stuff, and my fire suit is a -20 or whatever for methanol, and even though it's like big and bulky, I kind of don't like it. But yeah, I try to stay on top of my safety stuff, even though we don't get teched. Belly pants, diapers, keep the old man in your head out of your videos. Oh, Tim's on here. That's my uncle. Wow. I just realized that. I was like, hold on, you got my same last name. Family, so when's my allowance start? I'm a nitrous guy, so weight is critical to try and bust these boosted guys. Yep. Yeah, we don't need them at our track. We're just curious that get that car's working. For sure, they had Hans then. Dale just didn't have one. I did not know that. I'm guessing maybe the Hans weren't like big or something, because it seems like I was little when Earnhardt died. I was like little. I just remember like the big push. I remember watching NASCAR every weekend, and I still watch like NASCAR religiously. But I remember the big push after that of the Hans devices. So that's why I always kind of just assumed that they'd come out right after that. Next gen super light. Hopefully never need it. Yeah, when I first read the comment as Tim, I kind of didn't even read the last name, and it's a keep. I was like, man, what did my dad do already? Like, man, he's just like in the background of the videos. Somebody don't like him. Uncle Tim, dude, that is mean. Let's see here. I got you, okay. Yeah, and the open face helmets, like that is one thing that I cringe about at the racetrack is freaking people running the open face helmets. And man, like after we seen what happened to Earnhardt and them photos have been leaked and stuff, like why would anybody run an open face helmet is beyond me. I mean, you're not even saving them money practically. Do you add top end lube to yours? Great fragrance. I do add grape. And Randy, if Randy's watching, I'm going to tell you that Randy calls me a fruitcake because I want fruity smelling fuel. But if I crank the car right here, we have smart thermostats, and it sets off all these warnings in the house that you know, the air quality just dropped tremendously low and everything. So I do run fragrance. It takes the sting out of the air and makes it where it's not so bad. Your eyes can still water, but I use the top end lube that's like, I think it's cherry. I went with grape originally, and the wife was like, why did you get grape? And I was like, grape is like the strongest. I feel like grape makes the biggest difference in the way the fuel smells. But then she was like, she wanted cherry or something. So I was like, well, all right, well, we'll get cherry. Being I run it here in the garage sometimes. Not with the doors closed. I have the garage door open when I do that. Yeah, the face shield being opened, I personally am trying to build habits of not doing that. So when I first started racing last year, I was like, on it, son, put it down. But then I was so nervous and not hyperventilating, but that's kind of what you're doing. It's like you're breathing a lot. It was fogging up the shield. So then I would open it up just barely, like where I could still see, but it would get the air out. And then I noticed that as I progressed through the year and got more comfortable in the car, that now I can do everything and then close the shield right when I'm staging and then have the shield down for the pass. Every now and then I'll forget. I'm sure it'll be rough getting back started because I'll be extremely nervous, especially with the turbo. But like I was finally getting comfortable in the car, and then they also make like a spray and wipe. My dad actually purchased wipes for me for the shop for like safety glasses. I've had my eyeballs drilled twice with metal in them, so I wear safety glasses, but then on these hot, humid days they'll fog up. So I'm gonna try the wipes this year to like keep the shield from fogging. You know, but yeah, ask Lau. Yeah, if you haven't seen Lau's documentaries on YouTube on him, you need to look Lau up. Anybody that has not seen it, you need to look his stories up where he caught on fire and burnt his face off. Yeah, that's the reason why like I wear it. I also have a sock, a head sock. But this past year I did not wear it any. Originally we were on E85, so I wasn't super worried. And then when I went to methanol, it was still just like so hot that I didn't put it on. But this year I'm gonna focus on trying to make sure I put a head sock on also on top of it, because I'm not interested in being in pain or being burnt up or anything. That stuff's freaking crazy, dude. The open face helmets though will never get old. Every single time I bump Randy at the racetrack, and I'm like, yeah, Lyle's video is crazy. But I'll bump Randy and be like, dude, look at that guy. Like, I cannot believe that guy has an open face helmet on. Like, even if you take your Honda Civic down the racetrack, it don't matter about the speed. You can get loose and nail the wall head on. We've seen cars kick around and nail the wall head on. That's where you need the full face helmet. Like, even if you're not gonna have a Hans device. If you're gonna have an open face, then you probably need a Hans device, I guess. But like, yeah, man, the open face is crazy. They make a sheet of plastic you can put on the inside of your visor to prevent fogging. Used in when I have a motorcycle. Interesting. I didn't know that. So I'll have to look into that if these wipes don't work. But like I said, this past year I was getting my breathing better, I guess, and more under control, where it wasn't really fogging up. So if you're all worked up and you're breathing heavy, then the shield definitely falls up. And we did 5 or 6 passes one night at Rockingham. That night we went to like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I was so comfortable in the car, like into the morning hours, because I had done so many. Like, that was really good. But then like with all this downtime, then when you go to get back in the car again, like I'll be completely train wrecked and nervous and everything. Because a lot of people, if you're new to the channel and you don't know it, I'm new to drag racing. My first pass ever in my life was last year at Fayetteville, and we did it right here on the channel. The first pass ever. I think it was on John's channel. John, for anybody that's new to the channel, The racing and the racetrack will always be on Turbo John Racing YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to Turbo John Racing YouTube, you need to be subscribed to Turbo John Racing YouTube. All of the passes and races will be on John's channel. The behind the scenes, the working on the cars, the GoPro, my thoughts, my emotions, and everything for other new drivers will always be on my channel. So he'll provide the race, the entertainment on Turbo John Racing YouTube, and I'll provide the real deal behind the scenes, because I don't want to grow a channel that entertains you with racing. I want to grow a channel that can help people. So if you're brand new to drag racing and like you've never made a pass and you're wondering like what's my thoughts going to be, how am I going to feel and everything, then that's the reason why I talk about like the heavy breathing, the fogging up the lens. The other channels, they don't talk about that stuff. Like they don't talk about it. That's what I want to talk about on mine. So make sure you're subbed to John's channel if you're not. I try to always share when he posts a video of this car, I'll share it to my channel, so you go to his channel, watch it, and then we always do the in-car GoPro footage, so you can actually see what I'm doing, what mistakes I make, if I freak out, if I stay cool, you know, if I jerk the wheel or the RPMs on the dash. You can see all that stuff, and we normally voice over them, and we have a good time, and it's, you know, it's interesting to see the other point of view. I've seen the spitting on it, like divers, like underwater divers and swimmers, like they do the whole spitting on the goggles. I remember doing that as a kid. I think it was like my granddad told me like spit on the goggles, spit in your goggles and rub them and then put them on your face. I think it works. Yeah, normally, so like when I first get strapped into the car, sitting in the car first off don't bother me. Randy was like, he was like, the worst part is sitting in the car. I'd rather get strapped in the car, get up to the line, and then them tell you to kill the engines. Let me calm down. Let my nerves come down. Let me sit on the starting line. Let me collect my thoughts. And then I'm good. So I actually like that better. What's up, Rodney? I actually like that better than just, okay, get your helmet on, let's go, and go up there. And that's what Randy likes, because he told me I'd hate it, and it was actually totally opposite for me. I like sitting in the car and being able to calm down, especially if I can sit like right in front of the water box while they clean up the track or something. But yeah, like normally, I don't know. Once it's the nerves beforehand, I guess. Like there's been a couple times. I remember at Darlington, what was it? The in-car footage, you could hear me be like, whoop, like shake it off, like shake my hands, and then like calm down because like I was jacked up. And I remember telling Brandon that I was like, dude, I'm freaking like nervous as crap. And that was at the Darlington race, which was towards the end of the year. But yeah, besides that, the actual pass, I'm normally calm by the time I get to the starting line. And as long as I'm not beside somebody, so that's another thing that they don't talk about, is like, when I'm testing, I don't want to be beside anybody. I'm not scared of wrecking them. I'm scared of messing them up. So if I had a choice and we were on the line and you were going to burn down a car or something, I'd rather mine blow up or burn down than anybody else's. I don't want to mess somebody else's stuff up. I don't care about messing mine up, but I don't want to mess other people's stuff up. And so that adds another factor. There's been a couple times I got so used to testing. Randy and John would normally tell the guys that started a track to let him go by himself, that he's new, and they would send me down by myself normally. But then there was a couple times where I would put beside somebody and like we were actually staging, you know, like we were supposed to, and I remember that made it way worse for me. Johnson baby shampoo works. I've not heard of that. Mandates around 150. You must use a Hans. Too bad you don't have a stereo in that car. Man, where's my stereo at? I'm about to go get it. Originally, so when the car was originally put together, me and Eddie just talked about that in the tourist video. There's a tiny, tiny clip in there that I left in there. Originally, this car had all the speakers. I put brand new, Rockford speakers in the back. I had 6x9s in the back. I had the three-way speaker up front because this car takes a unique three-way speaker. I had the radio actually that flipped up with the TV screen because it's just a single DIN cutout in there. So the car originally, when I originally started putting it together, I had all the speakers put in a new car, brand new speakers, and then I still have the original radio out of the red Maverick that I wanted to take and saw the back half off of it. I mean, it's like rusty on the back side, it don't work. But I wanted to basically cut the whole back of it off epoxy it so that the buttons and everything don't fall out. That way it's lightweight because the old school radios are really heavy. And then I wanted to mount it back in the dash so it looks like there's actually a classic radio in there. And the buttons would, you know, I think still move and everything. But I never did it. And then now that we've added the firewall bar, I still haven't even put the lower. Dude, that messed up a lot of people on the channel too, is thinking that the dash bar was too low, when really the dash bar is higher than the bottom of the lower dash. It's just the lower dash is not in the car, because the Mavericks have a 2-piece dash. Yeah, dude, anxiety, man. Like, John and them, like, Randy, I don't know if he fakes it. I swear he fakes it, because that dude is like, he seems to never get nervous. And John's been racing for so freaking long that I don't know if John can get nervous, honestly. We were at Galot testing. If y'all seen the video, do y'all remember where that blue car kept purging its nitrous forever? I was filming, and as I was filming, I didn't know what that car was doing. Like, I don't know their thoughts. I don't know if they really needed to purge, or if they were trying to, like, it was an actual race, or if they were just trying to purge longer and take longer to mess John up. I have no clue what was going on, okay? So I'm not speaking on nothing because I don't understand nitrous or purging or anything. It just was a really long time. And I remember filming and thinking, man, I hope that they aren't trying to mess John up, because I think that John, I think he could sit there and pull his phone out and just about scroll TikTok. And then as soon as he hears them go in, like, I think he could just put his phone down and just be on his game, because it seems like John's raced for so long that, like, I don't think John, it would even phase him. I about could picture John dozing off, like, because they're taking so long to stage. Like, it's nuts. And Randy, yeah, Randy's always, like, chill. I think Randy's faking it. If you don't hear, I think you're faking it. I think there's times that you're extremely nervous and you're about to doo-doo your pants, and I think you're faking it. I think you're putting on this stone-faced killer look, and you're acting really cool. But I think that I think you are nervous sometimes, and we just can't tell, and you hide it from us. I think that's what it is. Randy Iceman Eller is, yeah, maybe from the football. Yeah, I mean, I guess I do know that you purge for bottle pressure. Now, I don't ever know if it's, well, heat. I think when you're heating up nitrous bottles, that makes the pressure go up when you heat the bottle up with a torch. That's what they're doing in the staging lanes, and that's like what Donald was doing. And then when you're purging, yes, you're bringing it down. But I don't know if that's like, if it's supposed to take that long, because it seems like not all of them take that long. Like, John was already, like, staged. So, I don't know. Maybe everything was clean. Like I said, I have no clue. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. And I don't know if you're, like, supposed to get some of that down in the staging lanes to closer. Like I said, I have no clue. It's interesting, because that thought was like, man, I hope they're not, like, trying to mess John up. Because I don't think you could phase John. I don't know. I've seen John nervous once, I think. And I'll tell y'all, I don't even know if he's still on here. You remember last year when he put his car together, the one that we wrecked in Texas, or he wrecked? He took that thing to dig or die. I think it was the Fallout at Darlington, back in track. And it was, he never even made a burnout in the driveway. He didn't burn out at the road at Brian's shop. This car was pushed out of Brian's shop into the trailer and took out the very first time at the Fallout. And I remember him on the way to the staging lanes in that race, that he was nervous before that race, because that car was untested. But he still just performs absolutely amazing. But that is the closest I think I've ever seen John to being nervous on a race. Kai Kelly purges for a long time. When Kai Kelly starts purging, that must be when I hit the fast forward button on YouTube, because I know they're about to race, so we need to get back to the talking, because I don't want to watch the race. I'm just joking. I mean, I watch. Sometimes it's easier to just watch the pass, and their passes go pretty quick. If you need to, depending on the track. Yeah, see, I don't know nothing about nitrous. See, the reason why y'all talking about, am I going to switch to nitrous? No. Because I be done messed it up. I be done paid for Kevin's new building with TKM. I be done messed up so many freaking motors. I'd be so far in debt that I'd have to file bankruptcy. That's crazy with the nitrous stuff, man. I'm just scared. I'm scared of nitrous. Like, I always hear I'm scared of nitrous bottles also, just like welding bottles. Like I always, you know, hear that falls over, hits the head, shoots through a freaking building, kills somebody. You know, like, so I remember when Donald was like heating up the nitrous bottle in John's video when they were spooling it with nitrous. I remember kind of stepping back a couple steps. And like anytime I'm around that, somebody starts like heating up a bottle, I'll just kind of like take 2 or 3 unnoticeable steps back because I'm just like waiting for that bottle to shoot off into freaking outer space. And the motors in nitrous, like I'm scared that there's gonna be a piston that's just gonna come through it because it always like freaking, you hear people burning up pistons and stuff. I get leery about it. Another thing like I'm scared of is if I'm near a car and it's banging on the 2 steps with the big exhaust, like with John's, some reason I always feel like that the piston is gonna come out of its spot, and that the piston is gonna somehow shrink down and go through the exhaust, and then it's gonna get back big after it goes through the turbo, and there's a whole piston gonna come out and like rock me in my head. So anytime I'm like filming or anything near like a race car and they start like banging on the 2 steps, I'm like kind of step back away from the big, you know, the big downpipe, and for some reason I just feel like that it's going to freaking shoot a piston through my body. Yeah, well, I'm scared that I'm always scared that I'm gonna be that dude that's gonna go viral because a piston come through the side of the block, or it made its way all the way, this big of a piston made its way all the way through exhaust piping that big, and it just come out and like hit me in my chest or my head, and then I'm viral on the internet because I got knocked upside the head with a freaking piston. That's 3,600 PSI. Yeah, but how about if that bottle falls over and it knocks the end of it off, and then it takes off and it's gonna kill me? If a nitrous bottle or anything, if it falls over, it gets damaged, and I'm nearby, it's gonna go around everybody, and it's gonna like take a right-hand turn, and it's gonna nail me. It's gonna find me, and I'm gonna be the one to get hit. That's literally the way I think. Dude, did I miss anybody? If I missed any comments, drop them again. It's slightly slowing down. If I missed any comments or anything, drop them, because I don't ever ignore anybody that I can catch. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Oh, Randy is probably a good poker player. I don't know. I don't know if Randy plays poker or not. I don't think I missed any comments. What time is it? 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. Oh. Have we really been on here 2 hours? Carbon bottles. Couldn't use a torch if I wanted to. That makes sense. So you got to use like a bottle heater or blanket. What's the time on the top? 1 hour and 32 minutes. It's nuts. It's been a pretty good chat tonight, though. Like, it started out slow, but then it took off. Yeah, see? Somebody died filling their bottles. That would be me. I'd be the YouTuber that the bottle found me off of GPS, that it hunted me down in that racetrack and it hit me. Brandon is extremely good with fabrication. It is crazy how good he is. Yeah, Drag Race Kid. Dude, the cooling system worked phenomenal last year. So, let's see here. I was instructed from Kevin to keep, let's see here, what is it? Not to make a pass under 160 degrees, I think, and not to preferably let the motor get like over 180, I think. Very small window, or maybe it's 140, don't make a pass over. I got it in my phone. But he wants the Coyote, he wants it heated to a certain temperature before we stage. I actually tried to build a warning light on the dash. The warning light is built on the dash. I was perfect on the E85, on the cooling system, where I got it up to temp in the staging lanes and stuff, driving it, and then I could turn the fans on and never exceed like the 180 or so on the backside. But now with the methanol, I cannot get this car over like 160 at the track, like even with the pass, and that's like leaving the water pump off and the fans off. Like last year, the last couple outings that we did on the methanol, I could not get the car. I think it was over 160. Like I was barely getting it up the temp to make the pass, and then like out the backside, like it just was not rising at all. So yeah, it should work perfectly fine. Let's see here. Last year we had, I think we had the factory water pump on it at one point. We've had the rear mounted radiator on it for a minute now, and that works perfectly fine. Now we're back electric on it. We went back and forth, back and forth. It should work perfectly fine. It worked great last year. Yeah, Brandon is crazy. There you go. See, if you stick with the outlaw tracks, you ain't even got to certify your bottles. But I'm just scared to even buy beer in the bottles. Firefighters use carbon fiber bottles. Have to toss them after 7 years. I seen the firefighter bottles on eBay. I actually sent them to a buddy because I was looking to get the, what was it? Either CO2 or fire suppression. One of them filled in a bottle. You can buy carbon firefighter bottles off of eBay for pretty cheap, or scuba diving ones. And I was looking to get them filled, but then when I did research on that, I realized that it says that most businesses won't fill out of cert bottles. Is F1 getting the Pro Charger? Yes. So if we buy an F-150, it will be to use up the Pro Charger basically. So basically I'm at a point where if I sell the Pro Charger, we're not buying an F-150. Because I want like $5,800 for the whole Pro Charger setup. That's all the belts, that's the pulleys, everything, and that's a really good deal if you try to duplicate that. But I don't think nobody's gonna give me what I want for it. So I told Eddie, I was like, dude, I'll just build another truck. We'll buy one, use parts, and we will put the Pro Charger on that Coyote is the plans. That way we can use it, and then we just won't try to make that much power. Like we'll try to stay like 800 or below. I've still got the intercooler. I've got the hat fuel pump. I sold my Magna fuel pumps, but I've got a hat fuel pump. I've still got the intercooler. I've got charge pipes. I've got the blower. I've got the Bimbo shift bottle for just the shifter, since we won't be doing parachutes probably, so I can still do an air shifter. Yeah, like I have a bunch of stuff left over for this car that I can kind of incorporate into the F-150. That's kind of the plans. Nitrous supply. Carbon fibers. Are you seriously going to strut the car if you can't get the ride height that you want? Rodney, you're late. I want to strut the car, but we're probably not because of finances. I kind of went over that in this video, but I think I have it figured out right here. So it's mocked up, Rodney. The shock is in the new setup. I'll show you how low the shock is one more time in case anybody's new. I'm going to put this right here on the top of the shock mount. This is the average dead blow hammer from Harbor Freight. So that's how much lower we are now. So instead of mounting the shock up here, we're now way down there. So yeah, I'll show you that in an upcoming video whenever I film it. But no, I don't think we're going to go struts because of the money right now. So it's not that I can't put it on credit, but I really don't want to be that in debt. And I'm thinking about F-150. So that's my other thoughts, is if I purchase the F-150, I'm going to show y'all how to get, the F-150 for free on the channel. So I'm going to show you how to build, hopefully, maybe, if everything goes as right as I want to, how to build you a street truck for free. But I need finances to buy it on the front side. So what I'll spend on struts is like my budget for the F-150. So I don't want to pay like over $4,000 for an F-150, and I want the newer body style. I want like the 15 and up or 17 and up body style, and I don't want to pay over $4,000 for it. Last week one sold for underneath $4,000, but I didn't buy it. It wasn't a Coyote, but it was still a single cab, and I can motor swap it. But yeah, the newer 15 and up where they went aluminum, them trucks weigh in around 4,000, and the 09 to 14s like we do weigh in at 5,000 single cab. So $1,000 weight reduction by going newer. Let's see here. What size exhaust AR housing is on your turbo? Yikes. So I suck at this. I don't know if you're new to the channel, but I suck at numbers. I don't remember my times. I don't remember my turbo size. I know it's a 94 millimeter. John knows more about it than me because I don't even pay attention to these numbers. I know it's a 94 millimeter turbo. It's a forced induction turbo, and the exhaust is like the actual pipe, that opening 5, 6 inch. What is it? So I don't know. The AR, I know that's a whole nother number. 5-inch exhaust pipe. So I don't know. I have no freaking clue. I don't know what I have. All I know is I called up Forced Inductions and TKM and said, we want to hang a turbo on it. I want to be able to split the block. I want to be able to blow the motor up, but I don't want to jump up where it gets really freaking expensive. And we got the biggest, the baddest, and the best that we could get on the T6S, what is it, S400 or whatever. That's where I need John here. Whatever frame it is, we got the biggest, because if we jumped up the next step, it would be like the, what is it, a GT something or some crap with some ball bearings or some crap, and it's like double the price. So hopefully this one should make enough that we can destroy the engine with this one. How much boost or horsepower rating for your turbo? I just answered that. I have no freaking clue. I have no freaking clue. I don't know how much boost I'm going to be making. I don't know how much boost I made last year. I don't remember how much boost we made on the Pro Charger. I barely remember the numbers that we ran with the Pro Charger, because they just, when I see, normally John's like, where's the ticket at? What did you run? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, dig it out the floor, or it's in my hands. I'll give him the ticket, and then normally he'll tell me what I ran, because I didn't even look at it. Like, I was just looking around. I just take the ticket and I just look around on the way back to the pits. I think that might be a good trait in the long run, because I'm not obsessed over that stuff. But last year we made really depressing numbers on the dyno. But I know we had a lot of issues holding us back, and we never got back to the dyno on methanol successfully. I don't know. I think that horsepower on the dyno, I think we should be in the 1,1300 mark, ish. I would love to be higher than that, but I don't know. I don't freaking know. I know the crank is good for like 2,000. It's factory crank. People make like 2,000, 2,500 on them. I have no clue. No earthly idea. Go look at the housing. Should have a number on it. The housing is like all covered up. Like, it's like got this shit over it. Yeah, it's got a the turbo blanket over it. I don't freaking know. I'm not taking the turbo blanket off. I have no clue. I think I showed it on the channel when I got it. That way, that's what I got y'all for, as you remember. If I remember correctly, you said it was a 94 104. Okay, see, Phil, that's why I have y'all. That's why y'all are on the payroll. I know it's a 94 millimeter, and I don't remember nothing else. 104 does sound right. Now that you said that, 104 does sound right. Glad to hear it work with what you got. Maybe a little bit more. Enough boost to throw the rods out of it. Yes. From the phone call I had with TKM and the phone call I had with Forced Inductions, I said I don't want to spend this money twice. I don't have money, but money's not an issue because I have a MasterCard. That's basically what I told them. So I don't want to throw away money that the motor can't handle, but I want to be able to tear the motor up if we turn this thing all the way up. So from the phone calls, we should be able to damage this motor with this turbo if we put this turbo at full capacity. Now, I've had other people tell me that no, the motor will hold way more than what you're thinking. You're selling yourself short. I don't freaking know. I'll know that it's damaged when Kevin tells me that we just tore it up, or when there's motor oil everywhere. Currently building a turbo Coyote car, and I need to see 1,500 wheel horsepower. Yeah, honestly, a lot of people don't understand that 1,000 horse is nothing. Like, you can't even be competitive with 1,000. 15 is what you need to be. But I also think that if you made 12 or 13 wheel horse, that from what I'm seeing on some of the lower scale, and you have the correct weight, you don't have a 3,500 or 4,000 pound car, that 12 or 1,300 at the wheels can still be pretty decent. I don't know. I would be happy seeing 15 to the wheels also. I really would. But I am not the type to get on here and say, I said numbers a couple times in the past of what I predicted, and I had a lot of people come at me saying that I was way off and that it would never do that and you can dream on and all this stuff. And so after that, I got turned off, and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I really don't care. So I don't say numbers no more. when it goes to the dyno, I show the numbers, and then that's that. Unless it shows like some crazy numbers. If we go to the dyno and this thing like makes crazy power, then it might also it might all of a sudden become a no time grudge car, and we just keep hush if it makes like something crazy. But I don't think this thing's gonna make nothing crazy. I mean, it's gonna make over 1,000 all day long, and I imagine. I don't know. I won't put foot in my mouth. It should make over 1,000 all day long easily. I went from nothing to an 8-second car in the first build. Yeah, and you see what jumping that far ahead has cost me. There's been a lot of times I chicken footed it. Pistons. Okay, so we want to keep the rods can exit, but not the pistons. All right, I will keep that in mind. 1,300 horsepower true street car. See, and 3,800 pounds. And so that's why when I sit here and say like, you know, I should at least make 1,000. I feel like it should make. I feel like it should make 13, man. I mean, if y'all or more. I mean, if y'all know, I showed what TKM done to the motor. Like the motor has everything done. Top fuel hoops, cylinder wall supports, head studded. You know, everything within reason that you can do. You know, aluminum rods, diamond pistons, custom cams. I mean, everything. L&M's race engines did the pistons to spec. They spec the pistons. They spec the cams. They handle all the timing. TKM did all the machine work and assembly. And the turbo was the biggest and the baddest that I could get in that price range. That thing literally like doubled in money if you stepped up to like a, I think it was a GT55 or 500 or whatever the crap is. If you stepped up to that all bearing turbo crap, then it was like literally double the money. And then that's when we felt like, you know, the motor might not be there and the chassis of the car might not be there. So that's why we stuck with what we got. I'm very curious what it'll make. I hope, dude. Everybody keeps saying that my car's gonna be fast, fun to watch. I hope it is, man. I've done a lot of work, but I don't know. Did you do any billet shafts in the Turbo 400? That is a good question. I was not doing YouTube when I did the Turbo 400, but I have the build sheet right here on this phone, and I don't want to jack y'all all up and turn it all around on my Turbo 400. I built it. I spent 30 days approximately building just the transmission. This is before YouTube. I used to move at a really slow pace, take my time, watch tons of info, and that's how I got where I was at. I started moving at a faster pace and a little bit more reckless, I guess, when I started doing YouTube. I put into the turbo, why am I saying that? I mess up all the time with my words. Into the transmission, no bell housing, no torque converter, no drive shaft. Was that it? I think $3,200 or $3,800 into the transmission, and I built it all myself. So that's all parts. I think 32 or 38. No bell housing, no converter, no drive shaft. Just the transmission. And there is a lot of billet, or there is a handful. The input shafts and the output shafts are all factory. I can tell you that. But there is billet other stuff. Like I know there's a oversized drum. It's been 3 years I think since I built that transmission. One of the pistons or drums is oversized billet. The other one's like billet. There's nice steels and clutch packs or whatever all that crap is in there, and then the valve body, and then the case saver. There's that case saver that's in there. It's been so long that when we build the new Turbo 400 that's over there, I'm gonna have to go back and watch all the videos I did, because I didn't videotape myself doing this one. But yeah, I mean, this transmission has decent, I mean, it's gave me, knock on wood, it's gave me no issues. First one I've ever built. I built it by myself with no help. Just watched YouTube videos, and we did everything we did last year flawlessly. When I check the fluid every time, there's no metal on it. Nothing coming apart, nothing, no issues. So, but I'm gonna take y'all along when we build the new transmission that y'all keep seeing it's over there on the floor. We started it because I thought we had the car in the bag. I thought everything was good, and so I said we're gonna start tearing apart the new race car's transmission, because that's technically for the new race car and a spare for this race car. And then life got busy. And I hope to get back on it. The airflow of the turbo will dictate the horsepower. All right. What's up, James? Wallace Racing calculator is pretty good. Turbo John actually did the calculator on his live chat. If y'all are not on John's channel on Wednesday nights, I think you pay like $5 a month, and you get Tech Talk where he goes over all of the times that are ran and everything. I think he did it, and I think my numbers were like, I don't know, under 15, 13 or something. I'm very curious. I'm the most curious of what it'll make on the dyno. I think I am going to tell Kevin to turn it up when we go to the dyno, because I don't care if we blow it up either, honestly. I don't want to blow it up. I don't have the money to blow it up, but I'm not going to be like, I don't know, bummed out. And it's been so long, like I want the car to actually make some freaking respectable power for once. And so I'm going to tell him that I want to make power. That's what I told him last time. I actually asked him if we could make like 1,800 in email before we went to, when he asked what we were shooting for. And he was like, oh, he's like, we'll see. I was like, which I think is way out of there, but I bet it's going to make more than 1,300. I've watched all your videos on that car, and I'm betting 1,500 plus. Dude, it would be nice. I would really be happy. Do you remember what size injectors you have? So I have 550. I have billet atomizer 550s in there right now. Not 750s. Yeah, 550s. So there's 550s in there. Oh, let's see here. I hope the input immediate shafts are billet. They're not. Stock output shaft will handle 2,000 horse. So yeah, I mean, if the stock output shaft, your input and immediate shafts are billet. They're not. I can tell you right now, there's no billet shafts in there. So if we split one, we'll be building another transmission, and it is what it is. I could care less. I'm surprised the transmission hasn't blown up already, honestly. According to forced inductions, the S494-104 turbo is capable of 1750. The S494 might be what it is. Is that what it is? Because it's 94 millimeter, and then it's a S400 frame build. I know the mounting flange is a T6. I think it is an S400 platform, and I'm guessing the 94 is because it's a 94 millimeter. 1750 sounds right, honestly, because I felt like 1750 is very close to tearing up the engine, but Snot Rocket is making like 2,800 on the same exact crank. He's running or is his a Boss? I think the cranks are close. I know his is factory crank because they're forged from the factory, and these cranks have made 2,000. So we're like borderline, like playing with the devil at like 17, I think, on this motor. I think. But I also had Kendall Collins, that Maverick has been making a lot of news on Facebook and everything, a lot of shared posts and stuff, streetcar. He's private messaged me and said that I have more done to my motor than he does, and he made really good numbers. So I don't know. Don't chase numbers. Mr. Scott, it's been so long. I just want to see the car do something. Cubic inches is just a factor. It's not bored. It's got sleeves. It's sleeved. I did forget to say that, but it's, I guess, was that 302, whatever the Coyote is. And when they bored it, when they did the sleeves, it's factory, because I ordered the pistons before I met TKM, before I went with them, and I ordered factory size pistons, so it's just factory size with the sleeves. Your car is fast. First path was John driving was 580. That was before meth and before the pulley. Boost increase. Change the converter. Don't get hung up on numbers. Yeah, no, I mean, we ran 580 right out the gate with John. I blew the hood off the car at 121 miles per hour, and that was in the 580s or 590s. Rodney, I feel like you might be wrong. No, maybe John did run an 87, and then maybe I was running 94s and 97s behind him. Maybe that's what it was, because we were foot braking. John ran, I think it was a 587. On foot brake, John foot braked it and still did a 580 something. And then I was foot braking it in the 590s, low 590s, and we blew the hood off, I know, at 121 miles per hour when we blew the hood off the car, the factory hood. And yeah, that was not methanol, that wasn't bigger injectors, that was just the blower with a big pulley. That was the biggest pulley we had, actually, the lowest horsepower pulley. No, you're right, we ran I think high 580s and only made 700 or 800 on the dyno because of the intercooler. If you remember, when we went to the dyno at TKM this past time, the intercooler was limiting us, and I think the car topped out at like 8 something. Yeah, I think it was like 8 something, because it didn't hit 9. And Kevin was blown away. He's like, this car should be like laying down tremendous amounts of power. but I can't get it. It just falls off. And then he messaged me the next morning personally and said that the intercooler was in the way. We did the videos on the intercooler. We got rid of the intercooler. We went methanol. We took it back to the dyno with methanol. We made 1 or 2 pulls. It was running out of fuel. I thought the fuel lines were collapsing. We got back home and realized that actually I didn't have enough fuel in the gas tank. Like, I literally drove 6-hour round trip to TKM and didn't have enough fuel in the gas tank, and nobody caught it. So we didn't get no numbers on that one on methanol. And then when we took it to the track on a different pulley, the car was so out of control that John couldn't detune it. If you watch John's video on John's channel, he was struggling to bring the car's power down. Like, he was doing crazy stuff with timing. He was saying that, I don't even remember. But he was struggling. The car was just had so much power with the methanol that, and the intercooler was gone. His intercooler was only at the dyno. John tuned it at the track because Kevin didn't get his hands on it after the intercooler come off, and successfully. So John tuned it at the track and could not get the car to not just blow the tires off or want to wheelie right off the line or whatever. Like, it was just out of control. We struggled like crazy to detune the car enough where it would work. Worried about the input shaft. It's the weakest one. Need to bump up base pressure. 550 should support 750 with no problem. A lot of people have been concerned about the fuel base pressure, and TKM said it originally when they dynoed the car the first time. And Kevin said that the Coyotes don't need base pressure. Like, I don't think Donald's runs much more than mine. I think Donald runs in the 60 psi base pressure, whatever, the fuel, and I think mine is like 58, 55, somewhere in there. Donald's maybe a little bit more. The Coyotes, they just don't take a lot of fuel base pressure, but a lot of people has always commented that. Just watch Snot Rocket in Kansas. Yeah, Snot Rocket is amazing. Atomizers are running an injector driver. You have atomizers running an injector driver. They say running those will eventually wear out the dominator and misfire my 2 cents. Alright, so an injector driver, I guess I'm not running an injector driver because I have nothing in this car but the Holly. So the only thing this car has is the Dominator and the Pro Dash. That's it. There's no other added boxes or anything like that. You never got a clean pass with the trans brake. Was not working. Couldn't build boost. Had issues every time. Seemed like, yeah, Rodney, it was crazy. The amount of issues that we had last year, we spent. So Eddie, my employee, said, are you going to like racing more this year than last year? He was like, because every time you were going to go racing last year, you practically hated life. And I was like, do you know what it's like to load up a car, put it in there, knowing that you're going to drive 4 hours round trip, whatever, and knowing it's going to throw the freaking belt? You think you might have fixed it, but you're literally just doing this over and over and over, and the belt won't stay on. You can't go fast. You can't get seat time because you're hitting the gas, the car's violently taking off, and then here comes the belt exiting, and then you're just making a slug pass. So yeah, it got very frustrating last year that we couldn't get a clean pass. We couldn't even see what the car did. That's what I'm most excited about, is if I can figure out this stupid trans brake bump crap with this turbo bumping in, I'm most excited about actually getting seat time and actually not throwing a belt. I'm not even going to know what it's like to go back to the pits and not have to check a belt besides the fuel pump belt. Because it was literally every single pass was, did the belt come off? What happened? The stock Comet Maverick small bumper weighs roughly 27. So I think I did miss that. Somebody asked about the weight of the car. I think I did skip over that by mistake. Again, if I'm missing you, redrop it. I'm trying to go down the list. My car weighed in at, I think it was 2998 or 2989 or something. It was right there knocking on 3,000 last year. Okay, that was with the blower and that setup. Now, we haven't had it on scales yet. We are putting it back on the scales for the alignment. When we set the car up, we set the 4-link bars, all that, we're scaling the car. But since that 29, whatever, 3,000, we'll call it 3,000, because if you didn't take a dookie, it's going to weigh 3,000. It was that close. We added 15 feet of mild steel bar. So I personally, in this garage, cut up 15 feet. It don't look like it. 15 feet of mild steel tubing, roughly. I think it's maybe more. We added the crossbar. We diagonally braced the crossbars off the dash. We added these bars that were not in here. We added the hats, which are coming off. We added a couple bars in the floor structure. We added, let's see here, a crossbar for the brace. We added the loop for the shifter. We added the steel around that. We added the turbo. This turbo is way heavier than, what's up, Garrett? This turbo is way heavier than the blower. So we added that nose weight. I'm very curious, and I'm going to tell y'all what this car is going to weigh in at. I have a very disturbing feeling that this car is going to weigh in at 3,100. If this car weighs in at 3,100, I promise you that I will immediately order fiberglass doors. I don't care. Like, that 3,100 is crazy, which I don't have the money to put all chromoly into all the tubes and everything. So that's the reason why, you know, when I could do the chromoly stuff like that, the suspension and everything, I wanted to do it because everything's mild steel. But I can't do 3,100. This thing already can't push it around, which I need to work on the brakes to make them roll a little better. But if it's 3,100, we're immediately putting in an order for fiberglass doors for the Maverick, because they cost like $1,000. You get both doors for the Maverick. So man, y'all pray to God this thing don't weigh at 3,100. My 70 Maverick weighs 3,180, no driver, big block Ford. Man, is that big block cast? That's heavy. 3,180, God, dude, if this thing weighed 3,180, the doors would be coming off, the deck lid would be coming off, the fenders would be coming off probably. I'd be ordering fiberglass everything, because dude, that is freaking heavy, man. Like, and that weight tears up crap faster too. Axles, transmissions, pushing all that dead weight tears stuff up. I'm used to blowers, they're fuel hogs. Yeah, I am excited about that a little bit. Should a little bit less on the fuel. Depends on the jet or the spray pattern at pressure, not the engine as far as setting the base pressure. I got you. Again, I don't know anything about it. All I know is I've read in the Coyote groups where it seems like all these engines are that. Kevin was very happy with what mine was at. My base pressure has never been touched. It was set right around 60, and it's never been adjusted. Every time it's been through the dyno, I think the car has been dynoed 4 times. I think it's been 2 TKM 4 times already. He's never touched the base pressure fuel again. Like, John's also never complained about the fuel on the tune at the track or anything. Hope all is well. Hope seeing you, Garrett. That's a mid 4-second combo. Well, we're not going to get on here and say that it's a 4-second combo. You can say it is. I'm not. I think you and your crew do a fabulous job. Appreciate that. You're still running factory front fenders, correct? Yes. So we have factory grill, factory turn signals. The turn signals alone, believe it or not, the housing on that grill, if I weighed that, man, dude, I bet you them are solid turn signals originally from 74. Them things are heavy. Dude, I bet there's 10 pounds on the grill. I bet I could take the turn signals out and put an LED nice light in there or something and drop 10 pounds off just the grill. Factory steel fenders, I've got all of these measurements in my phone also. The doors, I took a bunch of weight out of. One door, the window regulator, is manual. I have drilled Swiss cheese the regulator to drop weight, and I dropped like 1 pound. I think it was like right under a pound of Swiss cheesing the regulator. If you lay underneath the car, the door is underneath it is Swiss cheese, so there's hole saws all underneath the bottom of the door to drop weight. The crash bar is out of the door. Everything that was in the door that could be weighed, all of the sound deadening material stripped out of the doors. The glass has gone out of the doors. It's Lexan, so the windows roll up and down, but they're Lexan. That dropped a lot of weight, the glass alone. The back glass is out of it. It's Lexan, but that's the original 74 windshield, or it's a glass windshield. It's a steel trunk, steel roof, steel quarter, steel doors, roll-up windows. Yeah. I could go and get rid of the factory floors. Most of it. The trunk is all cut out of it, and it's aluminum floors in the trunk. We have a video where we reback half it. You should definitely go back and check that out. But up front, go back and check out around November 23rd when we took the car down. We cut the whole floor structure, or we cut the center of the floor out. But yeah, I would say 50% of the factory floors are still there. The rest has been cut out and modified. So I never realized how much the deck lid weighed until you cut that one apart. Dude, that was a good video. Dude, if I could have got the weight out of that, but if you're no prep racing, you kind of want the weight on the back, so that's the reason why I haven't ordered a fiberglass deck lid yet, because it's like, order a fiberglass deck lid, do all the bodywork and paint, and then we stack weight. into the back. So I haven't done that. The bumpers are fiberglass. I think we pull it out the doors first, fiberglass doors, and then maybe fiberglass fenders. The fenders are not terribly heavy, but probably fiberglass fenders and doors. I think the deck lid would definitely be the very last thing that I changed. Factory front fenders, factory floors. I watched one of your videos about people paying you for mentorship on flipping cars. Have you ever thought about doing that same thing for painting and bodywork? No, because I don't consider myself a professional painter or professional bodywork. So I'm self-taught. I've never went to school for painting or body, and I have never worked for anybody for painting body. I've learned it myself by messing up, and I've learned it off of advices from others, but I'm still outdated really far on the way I repair vehicles. So such as a weld-on stud gun. If you're welding studs to a car and pulling it, you're a caveman and you're extremely outdated. That's what I do. So I would never take anybody's money. I wouldn't feel right about taking somebody's money in exchange for teaching them how to paint. Instead, I'll just teach everything I know on YouTube and put it out there, and you can get the content for free. I don't think that I'm that good of a painter or a body guy. With the amount of power you'll be making, 3,100 pounds won't be an issue. Add a couple hundred pounds in the rear for no prep. I agree, but again, I don't like that number 3. Even though I was an Earnhardt fan, I want it to be in the 2s. I want it to be lower. One goal with the TIG, okay, such as this. So the front structure that the headlights are bolted into, that's all steel. It's all MIG. I want to get rid of all that and build that out of aluminum. You know, so I want to get rid of some of this stuff up here that's steel, or through the car that I have built over the years out of steel, and I want to learn to TIG, and I want to switch a bunch of crap to aluminum in areas I can, such as the pieces that hold the headlight. When you take off this front support, I mean, it's decent. Like, it's a decent amount of weight. You could build this out of aluminum or chromoly and TIG it. It cuts some weight. So that's what I'm hoping, that we can bring a lot of interesting projects to the channel, because I'm obsessed with free weight loss. I'm like one of them guys. And we can hopefully remake some stuff with TIG, you know, and make some cool pieces. Let's see here. That thing spools so fast. First few passes, just light both bulbs, spool up. Nothing comes up. Don't let it go. Don't worry about reaction. Probably something new so you can sort it out. Yeah, Rodney, and I'm hoping for private testing. Dude, I had the private testing in the bag, and then the car messed up. But it looks like Galot is doing private testing, like, seems like every Thursday. And for like $250, you can jump into the private testing, which is pretty freaking cool, because I'm definitely all for. And I think I forgot to tell John this. I spoke to Chris Kenny with Night Train. They're big time grudge racers, if you know the Night Train, and asked, because I'm friends with him, asked if I could get in with them doing some private testing. Can't show their car, can't show them testing really, can't show none of the grudge stuff. But if I could just pay my way in, and, you know, just, I need to reach out to local guys that I could pay in and do as much private testing as I can this year to get comfortable and really hopefully make some steam and progress really fast and learn how to drive this thing. And he said yes, that if they private test, he'll definitely let me know, and I can get in with them hopefully. So unless it's like a really high low-key grudge test, I should be able to hopefully get some private track rentals with Chris maybe this year also. It should be freaking amazing. I'm going to request that you have a rear-facing GoPro on the dash. Should be epic content. I do need, that's a good idea. I need to get 2 GoPros. I need to get one that will, like, face my face and everything. And then I need to get the one that faces forward so you can actually see what the car's doing down the track. I need to buy another GoPro. We, as YouTubers, honestly, we don't use the GoPros except for literally on the car at all. But I need to buy one, man. That's a really good idea. They're just so freaking expensive. Oh, great video. Show how and where you save weight. Yeah. And Garrett, I love that stuff, dude. Like, I love the weight loss stuff. Like, you should have seen before I was doing YouTube. It's in my phone down to the ounces. I weighed every freaking piece of, like, the door. I have weights for the regulator. I have weights for the AC box, because I originally had AC in the car and I took all that out. Like, I restored the car, started restoring everything. I rebuilt the whole HVAC system, all new gaskets. Like, I custom hand cut all gaskets because you can't get the gaskets for these. Rebuilt all that, and like, I weighed everything. And when I started pulling the windshield wipers out, I know what the windshield wipers weigh. I know what the motor weighs. I know what the HVAC box weighs. I know what the crash bar weighed. I know what the regulator weighs. Like, I have notes in my phone for everything because I'm so obsessed with free weight. Harbor Freight, baby. Yeah, I use the Harbor Freight stud gun. I definitely use that. But a lot of times I don't even use that. If I can bang it out for the backside or whatever and then just roll body filler over it, that's kind of what I do. I'm kind of a cave and pave guy. So you kind of, Salvage kind of teaches you that. 360 GoPro. Dude, Phil, I don't have the money. Phil, I'm $4,800 in the hole right now on this thing on credit card debt. And I cannot be buying a 360 GoPro. I ain't got Turbo John money. Good deal for tests. They do prep the track. It's good enough for radio. Yeah, so it was $250 for Randy. When Randy did that radial racing the other week at Galot, I had paid my way, and then the car messed up, and so I sold my spot. And on $250 was one car. There was multiple cars there. I think it was like in the threes to rent the track. But it seems like they're doing that every week, because last week Galot posted that for $250 you can get your car in on a private testing to message them for information. So I'm hoping that when the car gets together, that we can get in on another private testing. Haven't the new GoPros gone downhill? I don't know, but I know that the GoPros, you don't need past what I got. When I did the research, I don't remember which one mine is. I have to look. But it does reach a point where like GoPro was terrible and it's crappy, and it reaches a point where it was a really good bang for the buck, and then it goes up, but the quality, the bang for the buck kind of goes down. So it's like if you get that one that's good bang for the buck, it's about what I got, and it's like good. It's basically like right when the technology was at peak, and then after that they just kind of added features, but the technology and the recording quality didn't really change. So the bang for the buck is like, that's the best one. Yeah, see my eyes. We need to put a backwards facing GoPro or helmet. Track run near me is $1,300 for 6 hours prep and EMTs. That seems cheap, because I think I think they're $3,000, but that's all day with track prep. I think it's like $3,000. 5 cars, 1,300 5 cars. But if you split 13 down 5 ways, that's not expensive, unless it's 1,300 per car. Now that would be crazy. I wish you would feel when you first started the car. Dude, I wish so too. Yeah, I wish I was doing YouTube back then. When you think, I didn't even think about doing YouTube back then. Like, it wasn't until later that I was like, man, I really need to do YouTube. It wasn't until Randy's car. Randy's car made me do YouTube for multiple reasons, but that was the point where I was like, we need to do freaking YouTube, man. 8th mile, 1,300 total. So if you split 1,300 down for 5 cars, dude, you are cheap. You're like right there with me. That's not bad at all. What's up, Coleman? Coleman, you are very late to the party. What are you, 171 minutes and 57 seconds late? To be exact. Closed another raceway. Oh man, dude, it's about to be 11 o'clock. I don't know where y'all are at, but on the East Coast it is $260 per car. Yeah, on the East Coast it is almost 11 o'clock. I'm about to have to wrap this thing up. I cannot believe we've been going at it for that long. Nuts. Yeah, dude, holy cow. Yeah, you're later than late. Yeah, what's the count now? 172 minutes we've been on here. 7:46. Where are you at that it is 7:46? Because it is 10:46 here. Well, in Cali. Yeah, it is 10:46 here. 10:46 in Kentucky. Yeah, it's 10:46 on the coast. Cali, yep. That's another bad thing about doing the lives is, when I jump on and it's like 8-ish, it's still like really early over there in California. Doing video inside the car, looking over your shoulder, out the windshield will help you see what you're doing there past. Yeah, and that's the shot that I normally get. Normally what I focus on when I'm setting the GoPro up is I want to catch the dash, because I want 9:47 there. It's early there too. I want to catch, it was like an hour earlier. I want to catch the dash, I want to catch the shifter, and I want to catch my body movement. Now, when I edit it, if there's nothing going on, I'll zoom in, but I try to get that in frame to make sure that I can see all that. Yeah, it won't be long. And honestly, CW, I can get it done faster, but then I have to go back to selling my soul to the devil and like just rushing. And I'm not interested. Like, tomorrow's Monday. What are we doing at work tomorrow? I think I got an easy day, Monday or Tuesday or so. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm 100%. If I could come home Monday or Tuesday and just get everything cut and out of the car that needs to come out, I would feel good with the progress. It might be as late as till next Friday before I start putting stuff in, but we'll just see how it goes. I don't want to go back to working every single night, not seeing my wife, and like biggest thing's not seeing my wife because I don't come down here until Harper goes to bed, the baby. So but the weekends, I was working all the way through my weekends and not seeing the kids either, really. So I don't really want to go back to that. The next weekend is Easter. Is it next weekend? I think. South Georgia Motor Park stands suck. 45 minutes. ETA on Turbo John's Mustang. He's going to be completed. Seems like a huge undertaking. So I seen John's Mustang this morning. I sat in John's Mustang this morning, and I gave feedback on John's Mustang this morning. Mike, when I went to meet with him, he told me to get in the car, that he wanted the feedback on the pedal placement and how it felt to me. John's already sat in it and gave his opinion, so Mike wanted to hear my opinion. I don't really know. I know John, I think, I don't want to put foot in my mouth, I think that the motor, I think he said that he'll have everything for this week. I think he'll have everything for the motor like this week, I think. I know he just got his pistons on Thursday. I'm sure he'll update y'all this week where the car's actually at. I'm sure you'll get footage of the car. It's looking really, really amazing. Mike is doing an amazing job. They're working fast though. I think Mike and them are on it full time, 5 days a week. That's the only car in the shop. It's just John's. I think everything looked, let's see here. I think everything is all the way welded out. So I think all of that stuff that was tacked is fully welded. That took a lot of time. It's all TIG. So I think that car is going to go together pretty fast. I did the laundry and now having a beer. Easter weekend coming. They can have my Windex. You have been on it strong for a while. Don't blame you. It just been exhausting. Getting rid of brake clean. That is nuts. Except there's a power pump that you can have electric car in the galley. It's too hard to get California. I don't want to move. Just getting more penalty. You should come on over here to the coast. Come down south and join the outlaw tracks. We don't get teched. If that's a chassis that John Dock had, he says a lot of chassis welds were bad. Make sure John is aware of that. So that is the car that John Dock had. And Mike has cut out, I'm going to say 75% of what they bought. So Mike has cut out and redone, I want to say 75% of that car. The only thing that is left in that car is what Cameron Johnson did. And them welds are not bad. I promise you, them welds are freaking gorgeous. So there's absolutely nothing left, that I recall, that's in that car was not Cameron Johnson. So the cars, all the welding and all the fab is Cameron Johnson and Mike. And Mike and Brian's work is literally identical to Cameron Johnson quality. If John will show y'all the details, sometimes he don't really zone in on the details of it, but if he will show you the details of the weld, Brian and Mike's, that's the two that work together over there, their welds are equal to Cameron Johnson's welds. Like, it is nuts how beautiful that is. And it's crazy how good Brian can weld, which is Mike's helper, that y'all don't ever see because he's just there during business hours. Car off the trailer to the garage this weekend. There you go. Mine stays in the garage. I want mine out of the garage and in the trailer. I want to switch spots with you. I want to trade spots. All right. Well, it is 10:52 here, so it's about 11 o'clock. I need to go shower. Wife's probably asleep. Kids are asleep. So I guess no seeing the wife again tonight. Go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, go to work. And sleep, but you don't look as bad as you did in chat 2 weeks ago. You're going to suicide. Yeah, Rodney, it's crazy because it seems like after I stopped working so hard, and then me and Harper had a weekend to ourselves where the wife went on vacation, And I was literally going to sleep at like 6:30 and then waking up at like 6:30 p.m. and waking up at like 8, 9 o'clock and then showering and then back in bed. Like I was like, my body's almost like been trying to catch up on sleep, even though it still gets away from me. Yeah, ever since I stepped back and away from the car and slowed down, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. All right, I am out of here. So appreciate everybody from tuning in. We'll get you videos out as soon as possible. Like I said, I've slowed down, stepped back, so you're just going to have to bear with me. Hope everybody has a good night. Hope everybody has a good week. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, y'all.